Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 12. Normally, I record the intro at the end, but to be so honest, I just did not feel like doing that.
What up, Jake Paulers?
So Dylan is here with me.
We're doing this live. I'm here for the intro this time.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to title this Ask and Ye Shall Receive because we, if you didn't see the post, asked for questions and topics for people to input, and so we could kind of act a little bit more on the fly with this one.
Yeah, we reached out to the community, and the community got back to us in waves. Jake Pauler Nation stood up. There are dozens of us.
There are
dozens of us.
There are tens of us.
There are tens of us. Do not doubt. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. We're gonna roll with it.
Yeah, we're literally. I there's a good mix, and we're kind of gonna jump into it, and we're gonna go with my old buddy from high school, Joseph Wirt. First, because he was the first one to he submitted two questions.
Oh, I thought there was gonna be like some small talk or some little foreplay or something. We were going right into questions.
No,
let's go.
We're spitting on it.
All right, it's gonna get juicy. Oh, okay. All right, man. All right, sorry, Mom. All right, so let's get into it.
So I'll let you explain this one because I think this will be fun. Joseph Wirt's first question is: tell us what a photon is.
What a photon is?
Yes.
It's not a neutron. I'll tell you that much. It's also not an electron.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to episode 12. This was great.
I really hope to do expected.
This. No, I know.
Welcome to the fucking show, dude. Let's fucking go. You want to get into fucking photons and all types of matter and energy? Let's fucking get weird, man. At the center of the man, we have the nucleus. Let's talk about that. All right, it's this will be fun.
I think a photon's a light particle. I think
a photon's a light particle. It makes up the spectrum of light. You want to talk about spectrums of light in space and colors that we can't even perceive.
You want to talk about spectrums?
Yeah, you're kind of getting over the head with one right now. I'll let you place me on it.
But his second question, which is also, don't forget the most important question. How often do you think about the Mongol Empire? And I'll tell you what, we were just talking about Genghis Khan.
I was going to say more often than I'd like to admit. There's a lot to pull from in that era. There's a lot of fun jokes.
Listen, man, when you are like, when 1% of the world has your DNA.
Yeah. You're not going to get away from it. It's truly an insane era of time to look back and think on. So yeah, I mean, I think about the Roman Empire for sure, but I think that one's up there for me too. That's
top five
empires for sure, bro. That's honestly top 3.
I think Mongol beats out Byzantine for me.
Really? That's crazy. Name 3 of their songs.
Byzantine Empire. The West has fallen.
Banger.
But yeah, I love Joseph. He's a old homie, and I'm gonna knock out a couple more of these.
Yeah, that's easy. Photon one was a hell of a start, dude.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw that was the first one that I got, I was like, all right.
That's crazy. Is the photon, now correct me if I'm wrong, but is that the particle experiment, the split particle experiment?
No, not necessarily.
Photons?
So, I mean, I think let me actually, you know what? I'm gonna Google it. I'm gonna see if I was right about it just being like a particle of light, a packet of light.
All right, while you Google that, so what I'm talking about is, for those of you who don't know, was an experiment done, I don't remember how long ago, but it was basically
the double slit experiment.
The double slit experiment when scientists shot these particles through a slits in a wall, and these particles acted differently upon being observed versus not observed. And what that means is that these particles of matter acted differently when they were being watched versus not watched.
They somehow could sense being observed.
It's terrifying. Yeah. So yeah, if it sounds a little creepy, it kind of lends its hand to the theory of the simulation. But I just didn't know if that was photons or what were they shooting.
So first, a photon is a tiny particle of light.
Nice.
And the smallest possible packet of electromagnetic energy. So there you go, Joseph. We nailed it. And the double slit experiment was just particles in general. I don't know if they were shooting actual like molecules or if they were shooting down to the size of atoms, but I think they've done it with both, and I think it still stays the same.
Terrifying.
Which is,
Yeah.
when you shoot it through the slits, it acts like grains of sand when you are observing it, like an individual particle. But when you shoot them through the slits and you don't have someone observing or a camera, because it works with cameras
knows the
too.
Camera.
Yeah. Then the pattern on the other end of the slit, when it hits the wall, acts more like a wave.
Yeah.
And
It's terrifying. You know, the things that make up reality, they know when you're watching them.
just there's one person who's like on the hair of schizophrenia listening to this. Dude, this is what I needed.
I told you, the moon is watching us and no one wants to talk about it.
Maybe even Squidward's house. But there's also another one which is super crazy, and it's called I think it's called quantum tethering. But essentially,
yes,
if there are two particles that are tethered together, or for lack of a better term, connected, if they're doing the same exact rotation, essentially, and no matter how far apart you put them, you could put them in different galaxies. If you switch the rotation of one, the other one will automatically switch its rotation to match.
That's so romantic.
Are you going to be tethered to me like a quantum particle?
Do you want to be quantumly tethered to me? This or nothing.
Sir, if you could just order so the line could move forward.
Just put the fries in the bag, bro.
Juan said Benghazi 2012. Thoughts?
I think it's a little in the shadow of Coney for me. I don't think it really holds a spot in my brain as much as Coney does.
Benghazi was a distraction.
Yeah, they wanted you to forget Coney, which whatever happened there. People came to my school. I was like 13 and they were like
to my school.
They were like, "Do something about this." And I was like, I don't know what to do, man. I'm working on charcoal paints in my art class. Like, I'm really sorry. This Coney shit sounds terrible, but that was a big thing, and that kind of disappeared in 2012.
Yeah, that feels like what modern trends feel like, but it was just like a decade and a half too early.
100%.
Like,
dude.
everyone cared for like 3 months, and then someone was like, "I don't think this guy's real," and then everyone stopped caring.
What we needed back then was like one TikTok researcher, one like overly obsessed blonde mom that was like, Coney, count your days. Like, I'm fucking coming.
I'm fucking coming. Well, it would have happened, but Vine limited to 6 seconds, so there was no opportunity to do a TikTok dive back then.
True. I guess, yeah, Vine was right around, maybe a little after 2012. But Benghazi, man, I mean, shit, what is there to talk about,
Coney is believed to be hiding somewhere in the Central African Republic. He's still at large? We didn't get him?
We never got Coney?
We lost?
That's kind of crazy, man.
Oh my god. I legit thought like I thought we won.
We won. I don't think we never fought. We never got involved.
Oh my god.
That's crazy. I distinctely remember, and if any listeners remember this, but I remember people came to my middle school and were like, "This is happening right now." And you're a kid. I was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry." Yeah. I had like I Heart Boobies bracelets on. I'm like, dude, my priorities are elsewhere right now. I'm so sorry. But that was a wild era for sure.
Yeah, and I remember watching like the first main video. And it fucking hooked me, man. I fucking cared.
That was riveting for sure. I'm not trying to get too off topic because I know I'm like, everywhere in this episode is, opposed to what else. But in regards to Benghazi, isn't that what that movie 13 Hours is about? With the soldiers of Benghazi, and it's Jim from The Office. It's directed by Michael Bay.
It's 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi.
Yep, there we go. Pretty good, and it's all about the American hostages, right? At the
there was an embassy and it got taken over and people died and all that shit. And then the thing that I took away the most about it, because in 2012, like you were saying, priorities were elsewhere.
Well, also, again, we were consumed with the Mayan calendar.
Yeah.
Why did it end?
Yeah, that's funny. You remember 2012 really well.
Dude, should have happened in 2012, man. That was crazy.
I just remember the Trump and Hillary Clinton debate, and like anytime Hillary Clinton said anything, Trump was like, "You killed people in Benghazi." It was like his only response. That and the emails, and that like one.
You got a dog wife, Jim. Your wife's a dog.
I didn't attack him on his looks, and believe me, there's plenty to work with.
There's plenty to work with.
Oh my god!
See, it's just it really is a spectrum.
But yeah, Juan, I don't know what you want from me, man. Hillary Clinton did it. There you go.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if we're talking about the Mayans or Coney or Benghazi. It goes back to the Clintons.
And now I have Omar, the homie.
Apollo?
Almost. He said, "You should ask, why do we wear deodorant on our armpits but not the taint?"
Why?
And,
okay.
And my response is, Omar, you don't put it on the taint.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was like, maybe you just put deodorant on your
Omar,
armpit.
you're stinky.
That's ew. Stinky boy. Gross.
You just wanted me to tell everyone that you don't hit the third spot.
Yeah. Hey, can you ask him why I'm unhygienic? Like, fuck, I don't
How come
know.
everyone brushes just the top teeth? I feel like we should start brushing the bottom. We,
bro. I don't know, man. I mean, truth be told, like I'll like, I mean, obviously like deodorant, but I've gotten so much pickier with deodorant as like the older that I've gotten. Like, I don't know, some of it just doesn't sit right with me anymore.
I hate the white.
The white chalky
shit.
stuff.
Yeah, the white chalky
absolutely. I don't like it. Well, it'll get on clothes, but like, I also it makes my armpits feel uncomfortable after a while. Like I can notice it, so I'm a little bit more pickier with my deodorant. I've kind of landed on some Dove men's deodorant that I really like. That just works well, and I feel like still smells good at the end of the day. But I don't know. It depends on what I'm doing. Like when we were playing softball and stuff in the middle of the summer or whatnot, and I knew we were going to like a softball game. Sometimes I'd like apply deodorant in like some extra little nooks and crannies and be like, I know I'm a sweat here. Let's go crazy.
Deodorant the belly button.
Oh, absolutely, dude. That one little mega fat roll. You're like, I know I'm going to be on this damn bench for 3 hours.
What are those like fucking like ball chapsticks? You just unscrew it and fucking.
Ew. Ew.
Good to go. Time for men's league.
Just the jar, and you're just putting the two fingers in.
Oh my fucking
I
god!
bet that one sounded crazy
I
in
should-
speakers.
I should have expected this.
I'm
You know,
sorry. I'm sorry.
I still want to laser my armpits. I know that's like a really
you've
weird
talked
thing.
about that before. I forgot.
Yeah, I know it's like a
I'm
really
here for
weird
LASIK
thing.
armpit fucking removal.
LASIK.
LASIK.
Yeah, I can't see out of my armpits, and I heard the surgery lets you see.
Hey, bro, whatever they're doing to the eyeballs, it might fucking work. Laser, is that a real thing? Laser armpit hair removal?
Yeah. I mean, it's just laser hair removal anywhere on your body.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah,
And
people do it with their armpits.
And my whole thing is like, I don't like armpit hair in general. Like, so even on me.
yeah,
But I also am too lazy to fucking shave my armpits, and so I think one day I'll just fucking swallow a couple $100 and get them fucking lasered.
if it's only a couple $100, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's they do like Groupons and shit. I've seen like
Groupons?
they do like
Yeah, I
fucking
found
deals.
a discount on Grubhub for this laser armpit hair removal.
Yeah, dude, if you go on Craigslist, it's like $40.
That's crazy. Yeah, dude does it out of his garage. It's fucking solid, man.
He's got a magnifying glass in the sun.
That's crazy.
But yeah, and then I've also seen this. It's this Instagram ad, and it's this one nerdy dude, and he sells this deodorant called Carpe. And
Carpe diem, I always say.
yeah, it's like you've seen the ad, man. But it's like instead it's a deodorant lotion, and it's antibacterial and it's antiperspirant, so you don't sweat and you don't get bacteria. So it's just like clean all day.
Nice.
And so my thought is, if I'm gonna do the whole laser shit, I'm gonna just get that, and then I'm just like gonna forget that I have armpits.
I'm just gonna forget that I have armpits, bro. You guys ever remember your armpits? One thing that I learned as recent as like a few years ago, which is common knowledge to others, but I guess as a guy never realized it, but that like certain women tattooing makeup is a real
Yeah.
thing. Like some women tattoo their makeup on permanently, which I didn't know, because I'm like, first of all, that's some G shit because that's got to hurt like a motherfucker, man. But also
just
like,
the winged eyeliner.
Yeah,
2040.
like, crazy, man. But also like, kudos to productivity because you just saved yourself time forever.
100%. I think correct me if I'm wrong. Now here we go, like two fucking dudes speculating about makeup. But is that not what microneedling is for your eyebrows?
I have no idea.
I'm gonna have to fucking fact check myself.
Micro needling for your eyebrows. I know threading your eyebrows because I've done that before.
Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of what is. I'm literally live googling. What is it called?
Riveting shit on this
when you
podcast.
tattoo your eyebrows,
folks. We will Google for you if you have questions. Just wait.
Microblading. That's what it is.
Microblading.
Microneedling is like when you like trying to grow a beard and you got the little roller and you have like all the needles on it. But microblading is a semi-permanent cosmetic tattooing technique that uses microneedles to create realistic-looking hair strokes for your eyebrows.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then you don't have to pencil them in anymore, I assume.
Dedication to that, man.
Yeah, and I've also seen women get like colored lip tattoos to like shape their lips to be like a slightly more, the like traditional lip shape.
Yeah.
To like fit that.
Yeah.
And they'll do that whole thing. I did see one dude who had like embarrassingly small nipples, and so he tattooed areolas on him so that they looked normal.
Oh my god. All right, yeah, bro. If you're getting tattooed makeup on your face, on your like eyelids and eyebrows or lips or whatever, like that's some hard shit, dude. So
yeah.
Kudos to you.
Then we have Brenton.
Okay.
Said first, "Let's go," all caps, and then he said, "When will Dill come back to Pokemon? Loved the streams back then."
Well, Brenton. Love you, dude. I appreciate it. Here's the thing, man. I never left. Pokemon runs my life. I hate to admit it. It's like my favorite thing ever. It's whether it's the new Pocket app with the cards or Pokemon Go that I play constantly with Tub here. I don't play the Switch games as much because those have kind of died out. I'm waiting for the new ones, Legend ZA. That looks like it'll be good. I'm optimistic. It's still just Pokemon, but the cards. My friends, Caleb, actually, right here. He's the most he's ever been into cards ever right now.
Yeah.
Physical, real cards. And our buddy Dalton is into cards as well, which is cool. So I'm getting to share that. At the same time, we're learning Magic and playing Magic with our buddy Joe, which is a fun time. But the Pokemon streams, like the card streams, I want to start ripping packs on live again, and I want to start like playing games and battles on Twitch again. I miss it, man. For those of you who don't know, I was streaming as like a full-time job for like 2 years on Twitch, and I haven't in about 2 years now.
Damn.
So I do plan on getting back to that. Things will be a bit different, but I even specifically have plans more so in just the Pokemon world and content that I want to get into because I'm a mega dork at the end of the day, and I love that damn franchise with the yellow electric mouse. So I'll make some content on it. We'll have to do something. I'll get some cards from you, man.
Yeah, it's been fun, and I know that you also said that you've just enjoyed being able to enjoy your interests not live online.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
just being like, oh, if I'm gonna open cards, I'm just gonna do it like in my car for the love of the game.
Dude, it has been nice
not to pay rent.
Yeah, it's been nice being a human being, like again, and just keeping some stuff for myself, which is life's all about balance. I could have done that while I was streaming as well, as much as I was, but everything just kind of turned into content for me there, and that can be a deeper conversation for another day, the whole streaming thing. But yeah, I've just enjoyed kind of playing Pokemon for the love of just that I have for it, personally, just enjoying it with my friends, opening cards, collecting. I have some cards out getting graded right now. So it never ended. I gotta go back to some of the content. I just need a better balance with it.
Mm-hmm. Here, let's see. Manny. God, I love Manny.
Let's go, Manny.
Gorgeous man. He responded to the same story 5 times. And he said, "Why is it scary growing up?" And then a minute later, "Why is growing old intimidating?" And then a minute later, "Why don't I know what I'm doing?" And then 2 minutes later, "Help." And he said, "Sorry, I don't know where that came from." And I said, "That was perfect."
That's incredible, man, bro. Use the DMs as a journal. That's awesome.
Funny enough, Manny's like one of the people that I look to, and I'm like, this guy's got it figured
Yeah,
out.
this guy's having a good time. This guy's doing exactly what he should be doing.
Yeah, like fucking. For those of you who don't know Manny, he is like full-time photographer. Goes around with like artists and bands as their personal photographer for their tours and their shows and festivals and all this stuff. We go anywhere in LA and seemingly he knows half of the people there, or at least half of the important people there.
Yeah, dude is traveling the world and getting to do what he loves and is insanely talented. And so the answer to that question is nobody fucking knows. I mean, it's like it's terrifying. I mean, when you're a kid, you look at the world and your parents specifically as like superheroes and these like rose-colored lenses, and then when you grow up, you realize that everyone's just an idiot person, like to their core, and so it's like
more and more as you get older.
Yeah, and I don't even mean that as like everyone but me is an idiot person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an idiot person as well, but it's like that kind of like sheen over everything kind of like fades off, and it's all of a sudden you see the world more so for what it is, which is everyone is scared and everyone is trying and nobody knows what comes next. But that's what makes me appreciate every moment. Like this one.
I think it's super interesting, like when you're talking about the perspective of looking at your parents when you're a kid, and as you grow older, seeing the things that they told you that were like just utter bullshit.
Yeah.
And you like, I don't know, even like when you get to around like 11, you're like, I can see through this. Like, this is a facade.
Yeah.
But then there were the things that only got further validated the older that you got. And even some of those things, particularly being like a little resistant to, like in your teenage years or even in like your full blown 20s, being like, I really don't think that like that is that important, or like really, like, are you willing to like lay everything out on the line for this one thing?
Yeah.
And then you get older and you're like, damn.
Yeah.
Fine.
They were kind of cooking.
Whatever.
Yeah. I was like, all right, that adds up. But yeah, it's just like you look at them as superheroes, and then when all of a sudden, like, you know, you're in your mid-20s or what have you, you know, at any point in adulthood, you know, this kind of happens to anyone where you get this crash of realization. But all of a sudden you realize that your parents were just you right now.
Yeah.
And your parents were
dude.
just like, fuck, we got to figure this out. Like, it's just like all of a sudden they have to answer questions that they never thought about. And they have to like try and teach things that they didn't realize. Like, you know, I'm creating a human here. And like, and they were just you. And so it's like they were figuring it out the best they could, the same way that we are right now. And all of a sudden you realize that they're not, you know, your gods. They're not your superheroes that have all the answers and protect you from everything. You know, they hopefully do the best that they can, but when you kind of reach that point in adulthood, you realize like, damn, like they were just trying to figure this out too. And they brought a human into the world. And so
yeah, and then you get to know them as an adult, and you're like, you're still trying to figure it out.
Exactly.
Like,
it never ends.
When you think that you have this like 20, 25, 30-year-old like head start.
Yeah.
And then when you both enter, or when you both finally like re-meet at adulthood, and you're like, so you guys know what you're doing or how this is going? And they're like, barely.
Yeah,
I'm like, fuck, it doesn't get better.
Yeah, you really do meet them twice. It's like when they're mom and dad, and then when they're their first names. And it's like you meet them as individual people. And it's like, oh, okay, this is kind of crazy. I never saw you guys this way before. But, you know, they'll always be your parents. But growing up is weird, man. It's super weird. And it's always the constant pressure of comparison. And like, you know, the old saying that comparison is the thief of joy. And truthfully, that is something I absolutely believe to my core, because I fall to that sometimes. It's so easy to fall down that pit where, you know, you're always looking at what other people your age are achieving and what you know, selling yourself short on what you've achieved. Meanwhile, you don't even realize it. And I know this sounds like bullshit, but it is true. There is someone behind you comparing themselves to you. Yeah. And it's like on a level that something that may be so mundane to you, you don't even realize. There may be someone comparing themselves to you because you have a better relationship with your parents than they do, or that like you have better, you know, a better relationship with your friends, or they think that you have a cooler job, or that you drive a nicer car or something. It never ever ends. And so, you know, when you do realize that, you know, nothing matters, and we're all afraid, and we're literally on a rock in space. Like none of this, just be happy for what you have. I try to check myself on that as often as I can. And And Manny, you specifically, you are so fucking hot, and you are so talented, and you are like living, from a friend and outside looking into. I know things are always different inside, but like, dude, your life and everything that I see from you looks like that you have just blossomed, and I'm just happy to know you. And so like, that's really all it is, man. You just got to support your people and be happy for them and figure out we're all scared, man.
Yeah.
Hold each other's hands.
And I think Manny is kind of the perfect like person to, I don't know, put on blast here, where it's like when you think of someone who like is showing success in the field that they are passionate about, and like real success, where someone who is aspiring in that field genuinely could be mentored by Manny. Yeah. And show success in their own right. Yeah. And when you think like this dude, if anyone has it figured out, like Manny's got to have it figured it out. Yeah. And I know that there is like some humor threaded into it, but it kind of just speaks for itself, where like I would assume that on like a day-to-day basis, Manny is like having way more fun than I am, and like doing way more cool shit than I am. And for him to be like, well, why don't I know what I'm doing? I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
I get it, man. Like, I've gotten in a conversation with him before about just how scary it is relying on your art for income. And it's as, like we're talking about this topic of being adults and stuff. And it is a tightrope where it's like, when I was streaming and that was my job, there were many months where it was like, dude, like my livelihood is on the line, where it's like, I've, for lack of a better word, I know it's weird calling streaming art. That's not really what I'm saying, but it's you're relying on your art to deliver. Yeah. It's like, this has to hit, this has to entertain, this has to be good. Otherwise, I'm homeless. Right. Otherwise, my cell service is cut. Yeah. We don't have electricity. Like, and that takes a lot of pressure. And it's also a fine balance of keeping that love for it, because when it becomes the job, right. That could be a really interesting conversation for a later date if you do, sit down with someone like him.
Yeah, he's and he knows this, but he is like on my guest list, and I know that I'll have an episode with him, and it'll be very insightful and very fun. But yeah, and I also think like there hits my idea of the perfect situation for relying on your art is where you have made enough money off of the career to where if everything stopped, you would still be making enough money off of your own money to just like live. Yeah. Where you're like, I have this huge nest egg that just accrues interest. And if I'm Manny and I just stop taking photos tomorrow, like I still will get a check. Yeah. And I still will pay all my bills. Yeah. And that, like, for me, for whichever way or however I go about it, that is like my ultimate goal is, can I build a nest egg to where I don't need to work, and then I can do what I want. And if the things that I love to do also create income, great. That's a bonus. Yeah. But if they don't, I don't have to start resenting my own passion because it's my livelihood.
It's why you see every YouTuber come out with a fucking like clothing or like food item or something where it's like everyone's number one like piece of advice is to branch out in different businesses, where it's like Mr. Beast and Feastables, or you've got the Prime drinks, or whatever, even like gadgets or whatnots. But it's like, or investing the money, and it's so that way you don't have to rely on the art solely for that. But that's kind of a bigger picture sort of thing when you're dealing with like a different level of money. When you can start getting into that kind of stuff. But what you're saying is, being able to have some money work for you, so you're not entirely reliant on it, and that way you don't, lose the love or the fire. Because it's possible, man. I've watched it burn out.
Yeah, yeah, and funny enough, like on the money topic, this actually kind of branches into another question that we got. And it's multiple questions, so these will be kind of fun to dive into. But
let's hit it. I'll answer in one word.
Julia.
Okay.
She put in
Julia.
Answer in one word. There are several topics.
All right.
So she said things she wants us to talk about, and we can do all of them or pick some. All right. Second chances / making a relationship work after cheating.
No.
Plastic surgery becoming more common.
Sure.
Buying a house as a millennial or younger.
Ew.
The results of kids losing 2 years of education during COVID. And then she said, personally, like people she knows lack of knowledge is truly scary. We'll do them one by one.
AI. That's my answer.
The answer to all of them.
It's answered all of them.
Second chance after cheating, AI. Second chances after cheating. I think that.
Bro, just say context matters.
No, well, not even that. Like, I think the
I'm
foundation of a relationship is trust and communication, and that the reason cheating is such a big deal is because it like horrifically violates both of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I personally am already a cynic about people. Like, I don't trust people's word as far as I can throw them. And so when someone tells me,
you the guy that had an entire episode on optimism?
yeah, I'm optimistic when I see action.
Doesn't sound like it.
But yeah, so if someone cheated on me and then came and told me I won't do it again, I would never believe them and I would never trust them.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't give them a second chance.
Don't worry, I won't do it again.
Oh, thank you. I don't worry now.
I didn't want to do it the first time. But here we are.
Listen, I'm better at turning it off, babe.
Yes, trust me. You had to be there.
You would have done it too.
You would have done it too. It was witchcraft.
You should have seen her.
Babe, babe. Hear me out.
What do you mean hall passes aren't retroactive?
What do you mean? But no, I mean absolutely. That's kind of what I believe. I believe that anytime someone is like outright cheated on and they take that person back, if that person's like, sobbing, entirely sorry, whatever, like please forgive me, I don't want to lose you or whatever. All that is, and we've talked about this many times just between us, but like it falls back to emotional alarm bells that are just going crazy, and those people are falling right back into what is comfortable and what is safe for them, even though it's probably not the safest thing they could be doing like at all. But it's just
the short-term comfort.
It's the short-term comfort, but they're ignoring like the long-term comfort, like because they see it as long-term pain, but it's not. It would be a short-term pain that if they were to just deal with it head on and move on. But when they take those people back, it's just because it hurts so much, and I would have to empathize that it's probably because part of them like refuses to see this person as that kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where that happens, and it always will lead down to sort of a toxic relationship, and that trust is forever gone. Gone. Even if you have truthfully like believed the person, you love each other, and you try to push forward, in the back of your head, it's always going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not going to get past that. So
there are relationships that have inner troubles, not even because someone cheated, but because they know their partner has cheated in the past, and they have to like worry in their own head about that. And that is an entire trust thing within itself, let alone being the person slighted or being the person who gets like stabbed in the back like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I know that somewhere out there are relationships where someone has cheated and then they made it work, and then they had a beautiful family and XYZ.
Yeah.
But
I can actually think of some firsthand in my personal life.
Yeah, and that's great.
Family, friends.
Until it's not.
Yeah.
Or in my case, I've broken up with people for far less. So
yeah, valid.
I've ended relationships for much like less devastating things.
Yeah.
And so I always have the mindset of like, I love the idea of soulmates, but I love the idea of soulmates plural, where whether it be platonic or romantic, there are tons of people out there who you would click on with a like level of deepness and vulnerability where it borderline feels like this person was made for you.
Yeah.
But I don't think that your odds are 1 in 8 billion. Like,
yeah.
I think if you found your soulmate in your hometown, I think you should buy a lottery ticket.
Yeah. That was predetermined.
Yeah. So my mindset always is like, okay, it didn't work out with this soulmate. Like, I will have to try again with someone else who earns the title of soulmate. But I'm not going to get hung up on the fact that I think that I will never run into another. Like the amount of people there are certain people that you meet, and funny enough, our buddy Griffin, he actually asked how we met. And I think this is a perfect transition into that, which is that there are certain people that you meet that you can tell immediately that you just click with. And only as time goes on does it just further validate and confirm that. And that was essentially our situation where I think, did it all start because I reached out to you about your YouTube channel?
I think so. That was like the first major step. So
Yeah, because we
found each other on Twitter.
Yeah.
That was how
Yeah.
how every great dynasty begins. Was Twitter.
2012 Twitter.
Another 2012, man. God, what a year, dude. 2012 and 2016.
Thank you, Coney.
Bro, shit ain't been the same,
You made
man.
me find bro.
You made me find bro. Thank God, man. The robbers break in. They try to take everything or anything. They take bro. I said anything, not everything. Come on, man. No. But yeah, and it was Twitter, and we were following each other. I remember seeing anyone who has known of or seen Caleb for some time around our area remembers the infamous Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy tweet that got him a lot of attention back in the day. Even still to this day, that gets referenced, even not just by me right now. It even got Mia Khalifa to follow him back in the day. That was a thing.
It was so funny. I remember we were tweeting each other back and forth in the thread, and one of my buddies was just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, responded to the tweets. And he's like, what are you doing, dude?
It's called a game, bro. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm like, fuck off, dude.
Bro, you are scaring right now. Fucking bounce, bro.
We're talking about SpongeBob.
Get the fuck out, bro. That's crazy, man. But yeah, so Tub's been unstoppable for like a decade now.
All right.
But no, it was Twitter. That was how I think we found like about of each other. But we had mutual friends. We went to different high schools, but we had mutual friends through the high schools. And then yeah, I believe if I'm remembering correctly, it was February of 2016 after I had gotten my first like big boy camera for Christmas. And I set my camera up in my room, and I made the first video for my YouTube channel, which I'd always wanted to make. I had made a YouTube channel in middle school, and I tried to do tech unboxings. And I remember just getting bullied into the cement, bro. Because it was like, look at this fucking dork who unboxed a PS3 controller. And I was like, bro's talking about God of War, bro. Get some pussy. And I was just, man.
How about you be the god of bitches?
Yeah, bro. How about you unbox some bitches, bro? Like, But yeah, my heroes back then were like MKBHD and iJustine. I was like,
my god,
I'm gonna go crazy. But so I gave it another shot, like the end of my senior year of high school, or towards the end of my senior year, and I was just wanted to do like movie reviews and stuff, and I wanted to just say fuck it, because I was like, I'm never gonna see any of these people again. I don't care what anyone thinks anymore. Like, I'm gonna do what I like. And I remember it very clearly. I remember I posted that video. I said, fuck it. I tweeted it out, and I like posted it on Instagram, I think, that like, hey, I made a YouTube channel. I'm going to be talking about like whatever interests me. And like, I'm going to start with some like film reviews, cause I'm a big film head again. And I remember you messaged me, and it was like the first time we ever spoke privately.
Yeah.
And you said something like, hey man, like I just wanted to reach out and tell you that like I think that this is super cool. Like I instantly subscribed. I love that you're just kind of creating something that you want and that you're passionate about. I think you had said like, you know, it was something you always thought about doing too. But like you can't wait to see like where it goes and more videos and stuff from me. And I remember thinking of you as just like a very kind of popular social Twitter guy in the AV, but also friends with a lot of people, a lot of, you know, mutual friends. And so when you reached out and said that, I was like, damn, this is really nice. Like this is very cool of him. And that was like my first real perception of you. Mm-hmm. And so it started off on a strong note. And then I think we just kind of got to talking.
Yeah. And I think that kind of established the like expectation that we could now just reach out to each other about like anything that we thought was cool or anything we wanted to talk about. And I honestly don't remember how we started hanging out in person.
I don't remember either about like what the first time was, because there was a few different things. It had to have been a mutual thing. Maybe you had invited me over or we went out somewhere because I know Pokemon Go was huge that year, and
Yeah.
we were Pokemon Go hunting for a little bit. Then I went through like a high school breakup, and I was talking to you about it, and I remember
Yeah.
you came and picked me up.
It was me, Joel, and you, and we drove up to the aqueduct.
Yes, and one of like my first real experiences with you guys was you and Joel, just being real, like creating a very open, kind of vulnerable space where I felt comfortable, and I was just kind of like venting and like emotionally purging with you guys. And
I remember in the middle of it, you were like, I'm really sorry because like I don't know you guys that well, and we were like, listen, man, this just happens. Like,
yeah, I like because we really weren't that close yet, but I feel like after that kind of happened, because you guys talked to me for hours that night. And after that happened, that kind of like cemented that like, oh, this is like genuine friendship here, something like deeper than that, soulmates, if you will. And it was for me, and that was nice. I remember that was right around the time that I was getting ready to move out of the state for a bit, which kind of sucked. But I don't remember what the first time when we hung out was.
yeah, and all I know is like that timeline. Me and Joel and our like kind of like little group of dudes that we had at the time with like our buddy Noah and Springer and Mason, Saeed, Tyler Reed, like all of these dudes, we were constantly like hanging out with as many people as we could and as many new people as we could. And I remember
I was just one of the roster. That's
at
crazy,
first, dog,
bro.
aren't they all, you know?
Hey,
like
hey, you know what? Hey, true.
Church.
Hey, try to feel me, bro.
Oh, I wish if Omar listens, bro, he's gonna crack up at that.
Hey, feel me.
But I remember specifically there was one day where we had Joel had just come over and we were goofing off or whatever, and this was when Snapchat was in its prime.
Yeah.
And we were like fucking around and posting jokes on our stories and shit, and then like the rest of our crew came over, and then we were all posting shit, and people just came over back then. Like they wouldn't hit us up and be like, yo, is it cool if I come hang out?
Yeah, the
they
door
would
was
just
always
walk
open.
in our
Yeah.
front door. And my mom came up to me because we hadn't like really paid attention, and we just like kept fucking around and kept goofing off. And my mom had walked up to me and she was like, did you throw a party tonight? Because there are 16 people here, I just counted. And it kind of hit me for a second where I was like, damn, no, I didn't invite anyone over.
Damn, Mom. God forbid we catch a vibe.
Dude, literally. But that was just the environment of the house. It was an open door policy, and it felt like a sitcom
Yeah,
where the door
yeah.
would open and everyone in the house would turn because they have no fucking clue who it was going to be. It could be an armed robber.
Dude, if I was Lisa, I would have said the same shit. I would have pulled full Patrick Star and just been, who are you people?
Dude.
What are you doing in my home?
Yeah, so there's a shot that, one of those occasions or one of those nights was like our first real like
Yeah.
time crossing paths. It could have been like where like because you had your crew and I had my crew, and we could have just had like a fucking collab at the time where we all hung out for some reason.
Mhm.
I really can't pinpoint it, and maybe if I like
Nice collab.
dove through like my old pics on like Google Photos of the year, maybe like figured out for the first one. But
it was a very fast friendship.
Yes,
so
yes.
we met via Twitter, as a lot of relationships do nowadays, or at least did. And it just kind of skyrocketed. Like it was just clicked well, and then things have just kind of like stayed consistent ever since then.
yeah, and that's what I meant when I was like talking about, funny enough, the whole soulmates thing, where I was like, there are just people that you meet and you immediately know that you're like, oh, I get along with this person on a level where like it just does not need to be explained.
Yeah.
Where as a lot of people, they kind of need to learn like your flow and like the little microculture that you've created with your friends and all this stuff. But then every now and then you meet someone who just slots in like perfect. They've seen all the videos you've seen. They watched the same shows. They played the same games. They know all the same movie lines.
Yeah.
And they get around you. And then someone cracks what you think to be an inside joke, and this new guy is like finishing the line, and you're like, "Oh yeah, you're coming around more.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're one of the guys.
You're not starting from scratch." And like, the older you get, that kind of becomes more important, because it's like I don't have to sit here and like tailor make my friends anymore, or it's like I'm not trying to like start from that ground level. It's someone that just does kind of easily slot in. And And of course, as life goes on, it does get deeper than that too, where it's like, well, how much do you fit on like an emotional and mental level, where it's like, the environment that you create and the things that you cater to, like, are you kind of on that same wavelength? Are we keeping up with each other here? And I feel like the older you get, that starts becoming more important. Where
Right.
It's like, because that instant friendship can click hard, but when you start going through more things and stuff, and you kind of see them more as an adult and what they're doing,
Right.
it's like, is this someone that I want around me daily?
Yeah.
And I still question that with you, but like I think it's been a good run, to say the least.
And I didn't want to do this now, but
Yeah, so I don't know. We could really get into it, but no, it's a fun time looking back on it, man. That was like high school days for me, and almost 10 years ago, bro.
yeah.
And friends for almost 10 years. I've been counting.
We should go to the club.
I've been counting.
But yeah, I remember like specifically like about like you and Joel and Springer and everything, but talking just about the idea of all of us living in a house. And I used to get just so many warnings where they're like, just because you're best friends now and just because you guys all are like this fun little group who gets along now, like doesn't mean like, they're like basically like, watch out. Like once you move in together, like you guys are all going to grow apart, or you're going to end up resenting each other.
Yeah.
And I think I can stand for the fact that like, considering how often that dynamic will tear people apart, like we've done very well.
Yeah. I've definitely internalized a lot of my hatred, and so like it's moved mountains for me personally.
I just take it out on my girlfriend.
I was gonna say, like, I just like Maya gets like the brunt force of it, and so like that's fine. We work on it, but like, no, absolutely. Like on a real note, it has definitely been nice. It's been easy, and it's like you just, because you've lived with people. Even not actually before physically living with them, but like you guys were a part of my life for so many years before we actually lived together.
Right.
In my first apartment, you guys basically lived there too.
Yeah.
Every single day, like I'd come home from work and like Tub and Joel would just be on my couch.
Yeah.
And they'd just be like, "Hey man, how was work?" And I'd be like, "What the fuck?" "Hey guys."
I remember when you got super sick and Springer stayed there for like a week.
Dude,
just like taking care of you.
I got hit with the flu so hard, and just like most guys, I am the biggest baby when I'm sick, and it just completely wiped me out. And I remember that Springer stayed there at my apartment the whole time, and just like watched movies with me, and like I think he like cooked me top ramen, and like got me like drinks that I needed and stuff. And it was,
why aren't you in uniform?
it's time to get a job.
I made you alphabet soup.
Get a job. But no, genuinely. And it's things like that where it's like, that shit matters, man. Like that's not just like the homie, like that's a brother. And
Yeah,
it's like,
100%.
And you live through a lot of moments like that, and like being there for one another. And so when you are more established adults and we have our jobs or whatnot, and you get this house together, and realize that you operate on the same wavelength, it just it flows. And so much of it, on such a real note, it can sound dumb, but so much of it is just communication, where it's just like don't internalize the hatred, like externalize it. Tell them to their face.
Yeah, literally. Like and that was something that I was thinking about recently, because as you know, I've had a whirlwind of a month. And I was thinking about how I think the most underrated skill as an adult is genuinely like building the skill of being able to have uncomfortable conversations with people.
Yeah.
Like so much of people's lives that I know personally are held back from getting better by one uncomfortable conversation. And most of the time, like if some of these people are listening, just me saying that, they'll know like, oh fuck, I know what that one conversation is gonna be if I ever do it.
Yeah.
But having the courage to start the conversation and the courage to be honest during the conversation and not like back down on your word or not like sugarcoat things so much so where the actual message is getting blurred. I think the older I get, the more I realize that this is like a necessity in order to actually live a life where you're doing what you want.
Yes. If you want a truly like peaceful and happy life, it is absolutely a necessity. And coming from my experience, it's always harder thinking about the conversation than having the conversation.
Yes.
It's like I've always kind of likened it to like job interviews or stuff where it's like nobody likes being interviewed, or like, you know, you get butterflies, you get nervous, you're going to overthink everything. It's scaring the the hell out of you. Am I going to sound smart? Am I going to come across okay? God, I really hope they like me. But like once you're actually in the interview, typically I feel like you'll find a stride. You'll realize, you know, this person isn't grilling me. We're just having a conversation. You know,
you make them chuckle once.
Game over.
I'm
dude.
in there.
Literally rubbing my hands together like a fruit fly. Like, shit when I start. But it's always scarier thinking about it. And that goes for like so many things in life. And you're absolutely right, where it's like that holds a lot of people back. And it's like if you can really have that hard conversation, I've been in that position before too, where I've had something kind of eating me in the back of the head, and I just like I want to talk to a friend about it, but I know it's going to be really difficult. It's going to be awkward and weird, but it's like it's going to be icky. Yeah, genuinely. But it's like you've got to have the conversation, because, and that also comes from like, how much do you love and respect this person? Where it's like, how much do you want them to continue to be in your life and for your relationship to be completely good? And if there's anything, you got to have that conversation. And it's always harder just thinking about it. But if that person loves and respects you back, it's going to be such an easier conversation than you think it will be.
Yeah, or at least, even if it's a hard conversation, an easier like path of recovery.
Yes.
Like you give them a day and you're already like halfway back to normal.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I think about it, where it's like a lot of people don't think that they're like people who struggle. Actually, this is a point that no one asked at this point.
Oh,
but
he
this
leaned
is,
forward.
But I'm,
he
yeah,
sat
but,
up.
but I'm about to make a fucking point. There are so many people I know and have known in the past who always talk about how they never have any friends. They go through like constant cycles of like superficial relationships and never have a lasting, long relationship. And the thing is, it's because they don't believe that their friendships are worth a hard conversation. The amount of times that, whether it be like you or Springer or Joel or whoever, like one of like my core people, where I have had to sit down with you guys, or you guys have had to sit down with me and had an extremely uncomfortable conversation about shit that we would much rather just pretend like doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the moments that define whether or not the friendship is lifelong or is going to not make it through the year.
Yeah.
And I have witnessed so many people come to me privately with their gripes about their friends. And then I go, are you going to mention this to them? Do they know that you feel this way? And they're like, no. And then they usually come up with some excuse along the lines of, they should know, or they're going to figure it out, or I shouldn't have to tell them. Mm. And then my whole thing is, are you going to swallow the pill and be a bigger person and just fucking talk to them because they don't know? And they're probably, most of the time, people have good intentions and they're just not paying attention to maybe how something is being interpreted.
Yeah.
But they're not, like, you need to go and talk to them if you actually care about this person as a friend. If you don't, then fine, let it die and fade off, and you'll look at old pictures and be like, oh yeah, we used to hang out.
Yeah. Because that's what it is if you feel that way, it just means that you haven't discovered the friendship that's worth fighting for yet.
100%.
Where it's like if you do not care to bring it up, or you're expecting something to come from their end or whatever, and you're okay with it just being unresolved, then in your core, you know, like this is a blunt way to put it, but it's like, this person isn't worth it. Well, it's like, because if you find someone who is, and that difficult conversation is there's not really a second guess about it. It's just like, fuck, this is going to suck. But you don't question that you're going to do it. It's just like, I have to do this because I love this person and I got to figure this shit out. But it's like, I don't question if I am going to do it. I know that I have to do it because the friendship is worth it to me.
Well, that's the thing is, I think that's how we operate, but I think that there are a lot of people who have genuinely missed out on friendships that were worth it because they can't get themselves to do it. Even with the people that should have been a lifetime friend but aren't anymore, they missed that opportunity because they were too scared to have the uncomfortable conversation with them.
Yeah, that's fair.
And because it's like a lot of people, like, if they hear you say like, oh, well, you just haven't met that friendship yet, where they like it's a no-brainer that you have to have this uncomfortable conversation. That's the thing, is like, with you guys,
maybe that's just how I'm hardwired.
Well, that's the thing, is like with you guys, like it's like way back in my brain, it is a no-brainer that I have to do this. But the sweet poison is when I say, but I don't have to do it today.
Yeah.
And then you just keep doing that until suddenly you're like, damn, we don't hang out that much anymore. Like things are kind of weird. They're not the same.
Yeah. What happened?
And so the people who like never develop those like lifelong core foundational friendships are the people who can't get past that hump, no matter how great the friendship is or how great of a person the compatibility is.
And then if you do take that jump and you do have that conversation and they don't reciprocate or meet you with respect back or something like that, then you know
see you fucking
that,
later.
Yeah, that person is not that lifelong friendship. But it's like, you know, it does take that jump to have that uncomfortable conversation. Absolutely. That's how I've kept, you know, I have a lot of people in my life that I'm very fortunate to say that I think of as genuine family. Like not friends, but these are my family. And a lot of that is purely because of those hard conversations, those hard times. It's you know, pressure makes diamonds. It's really what you got to go through sometimes, and you've got to be able to take the jump.
I think you can view it kind of like a bridge where the majority of the bridge is just smooth sailing, just coasting on nothing. Yeah. And then every now and again, you have to reinforce it with a pillar. And that pillar is an uncomfortable conversation. And when you look at the bridge, like the majority of it is not pillar. Like it's not just like a million pillars all next to each other and that makes a bridge. Yeah. It's only a few. But those few are what is keeping the entire thing up. Yeah. If you never had those uncomfortable conversations, you have nothing to coast on. Okay.
Here's one. Suspension bridge. Figure that one out.
It's the same thing, but upside down.
Dumbass. But it's wires and stuff. It doesn't make any sense. How do they get the bridges there? There's so much ocean.
Suspension.
What do they do? What? Doesn't make any sense. How do they get the bridges there, man? Fuck. What are we draining the ocean? It's mind-boggling. How did they build the Golden Gate Bridge in 1786?
1786.
Or whenever they built the Golden Gate Bridge.
That's right, kids. 10 years after America was founded, we sprinted to the West Coast.
We built San Francisco, baby. Let's go. We had plans.
Oh fuck.
That's crazy.
I'm gonna keep us moving because I want to touch on more things.
There was a couple others from Juliet.
Yeah,
really quick. I
still have hers up.
Okay.
Plastic surgery becoming more common, and we don't have to spend a million.
No, we won't. Yeah, I promise. This isn't going to be a fucking 20-minute breakdown of that. Plastic surgery becoming more common. Genuine answer. I don't give a fuck.
Me either.
I don't give a fuck.
I think if you want to look hotter, do it.
Yeah, and I think that to each their own. Sometimes I feel like people are more attractive without it.
Yes.
And it like takes away from their looks. But I think that over time, maybe the plastic surgery is getting just better and more natural looking. Yeah. Obviously, I'm not talking about the peeled, wrinkled skin back on the face and ballooned boobs and this is unnatural and weird looking. But I think that there are more common forms of plastic surgery that look supernatural and probably help someone in their daily life if it even is just a boost of confidence.
Yeah, I think the precursor is you have to ask yourself why you're doing it.
Absolutely.
And if because we know people who were already hot and they're going and getting surgery done, and you're going what the fuck are you doing that for? You were already hot, and now it comes off as trying to make up for an insecurity that should have been dealt with psychologically, not physically.
Absolutely.
But there are certain people where genuinely they have a nose that they just cannot get past, and they have a rhinoplasty, and then from there on out they're I feel better, I feel more confident, I'm happier. I know girls who have had boob jobs and they feel great, and they go out in a bikini and they're very happy with their body now and blah 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 and all that stuff. And if they're not actively self-hating constantly still after this fact, then great, it did what you wanted it to do.
Yeah, you hear stories of people being it was the best decision that I made for myself. Yeah. And then you see the horror story side of it too. So I just think it depends on the person and I guess what they're getting done. But truthfully, I don't care.
Yeah, if you're in your mid 40s and you want to get the little facelift or something done with your hair or your teeth or whatever, yeah, that's fine. If you're 23 and you want a BBL, you need to see a therapist.
Yeah.
You do not need to go under the knife.
Yeah, the work that needs to be done is internal.
Yeah, and that's the thing is if you have money and you're aging, but you know that you found a surgeon on Instagram and they have do beautiful subtle work.
Yeah.
And you're like, I could be a little hotter for a little longer. Like, go for it. Like, make sure you're healthy. But
genuinely, that's like my biggest thing is like, can you financially afford it?
Yeah.
Where it's like, are you chilling and are you comfortable? And do you have this like disposable income to like throw at something like this? And did it make you happy? Great.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah,
End of story.
100%.
Like no one else should really give a fuck.
Yeah, I agree. And at the point where it is now, where like there are so many celebrities in Hollywood who go to surgeons who are so fucking good that you could not tell half the time, where it's like, go for it, dude. Like
Who cares?
As an average person, like this is your competition. Like this is what they're doing. And if you have money, like it's no coincidence that some of the richest people are like still attractive in like their age 50. Like, do you think that all these like red carpet celebrities going to the gala are just naturally have the best genes? Like, no, they have the best money and the best surgeons.
We have like a 50-year-old man who's pumping himself full of his teenage son's blood. It's like there are no rules.
His name's I know you can just do things.
You can just do that. That's crazy. There are birds outside that you can eat.
They're free.
They're free birds outside, and the government doesn't want you to know about that. You can just do shit, man.
They're coming. They're eating the dogs.
They're eating the cats and dogs. It's
they're
crazy.
Eating the pets.
The pets. And like just fucking, I don't know, steal your son's plasma and see what that does. Like it's just, you can do stuff.
Fuck, what's that guy's name? It's Brian something.
I don't
I
even
know his first name's
man.
Brian. I see him on Twitter all the time, and honestly, he's actually a genius. Like everything that he's doing is super science based, but it's insane.
I find it super interesting because it's like, dude, be the guinea pig.
Dude, yeah, everyone's looking with a side eye like, fuck, does this work?
What the fuck is going to happen to this guy? So it's like, you know, if this dude's pumping himself full of his son's blood or plasma or whatever to stay young forever, which is a true thing that is happening, who am I to judge if somebody is getting a facelift or like, you know, their lips or nose done or a boob job? It's like, I don't care. And if you don't do it, great, you know? You're all perfect how you are.
Yeah, and
do whatever makes you happy.
That's the thing, yeah. It really comes down to your confidence, and that's built from like the mental and psychological and emotional space. But if you're already good and then you're like, I just want to be hotter, then fucking go for it. And the guy's name is Brian Johnson.
Brian Johnson.
His slogan is
name possible.
His slogan is "Don't die," because he's planning on doing every science-based tactic to not age, and
die.
His like he gets measured by like teams of doctors and scientists, like all of his metrics constantly, and all of his biomarkers are like, this is a 27-year-old man, and he's like in his 40s.
It's crazy, man.
So we'll see.
We're gonna laugh now, but when this dude, I don't know, surpasses the average male lifespan of 82,
yeah,
all of this, he's
and it gets hit by a truck.
I make that same joke all the time, dude. All this money, all this time, all this like surgeries or transfusions or whatnot, and it's like, yeah, and then a heart attack,
and the vending machine falls on you.
Literally, who knows, man? At this rate, but interesting.
Okay, next one is buying a house as a millennial or younger.
That's super fun to imagine, man.
I know.
Like, wow, what a fucking concept that would be.
Let's talk about don't die. That was more realistic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Let's talk about living forever. I think that's more practical here. I don't know, man. When I think about buying a house, I don't know if it's gonna be possible. I guess I shouldn't say that, but like I think of the state of California,
right,
and how much more difficult it is to do that here.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely something that is a plan of mine. I don't want to rent forever, even though there is like a new kind of push going on online about like perma renters, like just rent forever because you don't have any responsibilities, you don't have like the all the extra taxes and whatnot, and like you have your housing or anything. And you know, when I grew up with my mom, it was just the two of us, and like, you know, we only ever rented houses, and we were kind of like going between, and we did move a lot, but like, you know, she just had to do what she had to do. But I don't know. I would like to, but you know, as right now I sit here as a 26-year-old, and that is pretty far off from me right now.
Yeah,
I've got other priorities.
We're at the age where our parents' generation was making these purchases.
Yeah, and things are a lot different now.
Yeah, I personally, my whole thing is we are living in a world where there is constantly more people, constantly more rich people, and the same amount of land always.
Yeah.
And so I think it is only going to continuously get harder to purchase a home. And if you want to buy a house, you have to find an exceptional way to make money. I do not think that the average job is going to get you into a place where you want to buy a house. I think the average home buyer now will need like bare minimum over $100,000 a year, and more likely than not some sort of like college degree in a field where they pay well. And then I think now you're finally breaking average to where, yeah, you can bid on that Palmdale home that's $800,000 that was half of that 10 years ago.
Yeah,
and,
ridiculous.
And so I genuinely, like, I also plan on buying a home, but I plan on buying a home because I am going to find my ways of making money that are exceptional compared to the average so that I can finally get into the market realistically. But I mean, purchasing a house like the one we live in, imagine paying $3,600 a month. Like, that is so much fucking money.
Yeah.
And
well, that's the thing is usually, I mean, like, I guess it depends on the rate you get or whatnot, but mortgages are cheaper than rent nowadays.
well, yeah, because rent, you make a profit.
Yeah.
But still, like, even so, like, mortgages that people financed 5 years ago are cheaper.
Yeah.
But with the interest rates now,
Yeah.
just the interest rate going up like a percentage point adds like $400 or something crazy to the monthly bill.
Yeah, no, it's a lot. And like you just referenced, there's new houses that just went up like down the street from us. And these houses are literally pushing $1 million.
Yeah.
Some of these houses are like north of $800,000.
And they're just nice.
And they're nice modern
not
homes,
mansions.
but they're not fucking mansions. They're like suburban homes. They're just modern suburban homes. And it's like in Palmdale, California.
Yeah.
What right do you have to charge almost $900,000 for this suburban house?
Supply and demand. My childhood home that I basically grew up in for most of my life, I've watched just in the last like decade double. Double in price. And I'm like, there's no one's keeping up with this. No one is keeping up with their income. So yeah, my answer is you're either going to rent for the rest of your life, or you're going to find a way to make money in an unconventional and exceptional way, and then buy a home. But I don't see it changing anytime soon. I just talked to my parents a couple months ago because they're like, I help them with their retirement accounts and their 401ks and stuff, and make sure that they are on track and doing well. And my dad was getting on my case because he's like, I want to buy more stock in Costco, and I'm like, you are single digit years from retiring. You are buying bonds and you're gonna like it.
You're gonna like it.
You are not adding risk to your portfolio.
Costco is not going to the moon.
Literally. And like, don't get me wrong, great business model, the whole fucking thing, blah 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 blah. But I was just trying to explain to him, like, you need to secure the money that you have in your 401k now, because if you invest in too many stocks and then a stock market crash happens the year before you retire, guess who has to work for 6 more years now instead of 2? And so we were talking about it, and he made this comment, which was really sweet. And he was like, I'm just worried not as much about whether or not I will have enough money for retirement, but whether or not I will get to leave you guys anything. And I was like, I love you. I'll be all right.
Yeah.
I was like, we'll be good. And I straight up told him the second half of that was, just never sell any land you buy. If you give me $0 and property, then that's the equivalent of gold.
Yeah.
Especially when we're in our middle aged and we're at the unfortunate time in our life where we're thinking about inheritance from our own parents.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't need a single dollar for you guys. If you're like, you can keep the house that you grew up in because it's worth fucking $1.5 million in the year 2050 or something like that, then awesome.
Yeah.
Like, great. You've done more than enough.
Yeah.
So
we live in an era when a lot of people our age that are married or not and having children, they are having to move back in with their families just so they can save up enough money to get their own place.
Yep.
It happens far more often, and it's like, because what else are they to do? And they people that do have their own homes or something like this, it's usually through some sort of hookup or a family member scenario or something where they kind of got like luck of the draw there with the cards,
or like a military loan.
Yeah, or again, like a family member owns a property or something, or something was passed down onto them or whatnot. And I'm not saying that's for everyone, but that does happen a lot. And it's like, the older, as time goes on, this is becoming more normal for people with families having to move back in with family to save money so they can try to permanently be on their own, because it's so expensive. And so you look at land, like you're saying, and it's like it's getting to the point where it's going to be priceless. It's just like, this is everything.
Yeah.
And that would be huge. When I think about that, like, I don't expect, or I haven't really put that much thought into it either, but I don't expect my parents to be like giving me anything,
Right.
at the end. I don't expect that. Possibly that may happen, I guess, but like I'm just glad that I have them, I guess, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But
I was telling them, I was like, live your retirement. Like, don't worry about
like
giving me money.
yeah, you've kind of already given me everything. Like,
Literally.
you've dedicated a huge part of your life just to me.
Yeah.
And so it's like I'm not sitting here like expecting like when are you gonna croak because I need this cash out? Like
Yeah,
what's
exactly.
going on? That's kind of insane.
Yeah.
So I'm not expecting any of that. That's a very sweet sentiment to hear from your dad though. But like really, man, just the land. It's getting harder and harder, and so
Yeah.
you just see more people trying their best.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when like our parents' generation moved to this valley was a like desolate desert town that no one wanted to live in. And don't get me wrong,
Absolutely.
it's no Pasadena still, but it is so different now. Just like the industries that are planted out here, the like restaurants and entertainment and even like bars and stuff popping up. It's like you're
Yeah.
watching over the course of a lifetime this slowly become like a little buzzing space.
Yeah.
And now the current version of like old Antelope Valley, Lancaster, Palmdale is Roseman, where
Yeah.
people are buying homes out there because it's kind of close to the city, and they don't want to like they think it sucks there, blah blah blah, until someone's like, oh, we're getting a Canes, we're getting a El Pollo Loco out here.
Dude.
And then 30 years goes by and you're like, we got a downtown, we got bars, we got a little game spot.
All it takes is like one Trader Joe's to gentrify Rosemont, and that place is gonna fucking go crazy, dude. But like, absolutely, because you were like, it's no Pasadena, and I was about to say, well, we're also no Rosemont, so like,
Yeah.
relax.
Yeah.
But like, it always moves on, and a lot of people moved here because we are close enough to LA to commute, and it's far cheaper.
Right.
That's where a lot of booms happen with us in Santa Clarita,
Mhm.
understandably. So you make the most of what you can. A lot of people are moving out of state, but that's also why areas like Boise and Denver and Austin like have become insanely expensive recently because people are leaving California in droves and going
Yeah.
to these other states, and it makes their economy rise. So, times are always changing with the housing market, with the economy in general, with whatever, and it's just kind of pay attention to it and make the best decision that you can for your life at that time.
Yeah, if you're trying to future proof your home purchase, buy land in a place that's near someplace that's kind of cool. And then by the time that you have kids who are going to be in their 20s looking for a place to stay, then that place more likely than not will be way better, and the place that it's near will be pretty great.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people who are actively right now investing into real estate in northern flyover states because they believe that with global warming, these states that are too cold or these areas that are too cold will start to become way more mild and way nicer to live in. Because all of these southern states that have like all the beautiful weather, like Southern California and stuff, are just going to continuously have hotter and hotter and hotter summers. And we're going to have summers where like 120 degrees Fahrenheit is normal in like however many, like 2 decades or 3 decades or whatever.
Yeah,
and then, but then you go to like Ohio, and normally the winters are unbearable and the summers are barely warm enough. And then you're going to have like mild spring and mild fall and like still a real winter, but nothing like killing your dog
Yeah.
because he was outside. And then the summers are going to be like a normal summer. And so there are people who are actively purchasing real estate in the Rust Belt because they're like future proofing for global warming so that they can have like a nicer weather area.
That's so wild.
It's crazy.
That's crazy to hear. Yeah, I don't know, man. Keep your eyes on Montana. That's a boom coming. Dude.
Yeah.
Montana, Wyoming, shit.
It's the next Arizona.
It's the next Arizona, bro. That's what I'm saying. It's the next Gilbert. Next Gilbert, Arizona. Coming to fucking Wyoming.
Okay, and then the next one is kids losing 2 years of education during COVID.
Oh, who cares? Dude, let's be so real. No, I'm joking. I'm stretching out on Caleb's bed right now. Ugh. That's an interesting topic. I never really put any thought into that because of COVID. Kids losing those years of education.
Having dated someone who was a teacher to young kids, it's kind of crazy, dude.
Yeah,
like
that's
all the
wild.
you talk to any of the teachers
I thought you were
nowadays.
about to say having dated someone who was going to school.
No.
Drink.
The teachers nowadays are like, I know that like every generation says like this generation is so bad and our
We're getting
generation was
dumber and
great.
dumber.
but it's like noticeable. Like every kid has iPad syndrome.
Yeah.
And it's kind of concerning.
Like another like point to that is like we laugh about like the brain rot shit, and we're over here
Social
like
media.
Ohio Rizmaxing like
Yeah.
edgelord.
Oh, you aura farming next to me while you get like gooned out or some shit.
Yeah, literally. And so like that's all fun like and stupid to us, but like there are kids out there that are like just getting like
Just
filled with this
fire
shit.
hose of garbage.
Literally. And so but like I don't know, again every generation's felt this about the next generation. I think that's an interesting topic. I don't know, I guess it's like vaping. We'll have to wait a decade or so to see the ramifications of this, but as far as losing those years, we are back to that, I guess, a form of normalcy now. We have been for quite a bit where that's not really the case. I know they still had schooling during that time. It's just they weren't in person. It was all online and like packets and shit.
it de-wrinkled brains, bro.
100%. No kid
out.
at home with a packet is getting the same education as opposed to being in school. Like that's for sure. But like also I think that I don't know. I think we live at a time when like it's more dependent than ever on the individual, because we have never had access to this vast amount of knowledge and information at our fingertips at every minute of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that, hearkening back to our conversation about AI last time, like these kids are going to have the tools to learn and do more than we ever did. Yeah. And so it's like, are they going to use them? Or is it just mind-numbingness bullshit that doesn't result into anything? I don't know.
I saw someone who was really big in the AI space. Like they work actively in one of like the leading companies for these huge LLMs right now. And they were talking about how their biggest fear with AI and this technological wave that's moving forward, particularly with the younger generation, is the amount of thinking that these kids are outsourcing. Mm-hmm. Like stuff that they could ponder on and actually like get real benefit out of because they're solving a problem with their brain. They just ask chat. Yeah. And chat solves it for them, and they never develop
chat, what
that
do you
skill.
Think about this?
Yeah. Like, oh, chat, what should I eat tonight? Oh, chat, what should I say to my girlfriend? Oh, chat, what should I say to my boss? Yeah. And it's like you are actively preventing skill development because you are just handing off this cognitive task to an AI. And granted, it gets you the output you want, but you now are super dependent on it moving forward, because if as like my fucking grandpa said, if an EMP hits and wipes everything out, you're fucked. Like you have no. It's the same exact argument that our parents' generation makes about us not being able to like upkeep an entire house or like live off the land, where it's like you don't know your Boy Scout knots and you don't know how to make a fire and you don't know all this stuff. Yeah, you do, buddy.
I was a Boy Scout. I got all the way to forget the one Life Scout. It's the one before Eagle. I think.
Life Scout.
I swear to God, man, Scout for life. Always be prepared. That's the motto. Any of my scouters out there know?
My real scouter stand up.
Real scouter stand up. No, I wasn't touched. Maybe cut it close a couple of times. Might have glossed over it in my memory, but we persevere. But like this goes back to the last podcast that we did, the last episode, where it's like you were like, well, I still believe that it's important to be educated. Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Because we're not going to fucking have to think about anything. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, I don't know, man.
Like, what kind of existence is that, Like,
it's fucking Wall-E.
Yeah.
Generally. It's God, what's that one where he wakes up like 500 years later? Idiocracy. I don't know. I guess I'm just rolling with the times, and just we'll see what happens, because I have had some conversations with like some little kids, like some 7 or 8 year olds, and the conversations that I've had, like they seem smart, man. sharp, like and it's like like you've grown up, like, which is the crazy thing for me is I'm like, oh my God, like Fortnite is your life. Like Fortnite was a thing when you were born. Yeah. And you've played it your whole life. I remember playing Fortnite beta and being like, oh, dude, this is fun. Like, maybe this will take off.
What a neat idea.
Yeah, what a cool idea. You all fight each other on an island. This is fucking Hunger Games, a video game.
This is going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I would not put stock in this. But like...
Flash forward to the ghost of Juice WRLD flying through space.
I know, dude.
I was wrong.
On my Dragon Ball Z skin as I fly in my like Transformers glider. my Master Chief Nike Jordan boots, like fucking as I hit the gritty on my opponent.
Sponsored by Chase Bank.
Oh God, dude.
BlackRock
Game
Industries.
fucking rules, man. God, I love this. But like they seem sharp, man. I don't know. It's like because that's just the evolution. Is like every
Right.
generation grows up with things that the previous generation did not have, and so every generation is unable to see what the results of that will be because they're like, I didn't grow up when this was a thing, so you're fucked.
Yeah.
And that's been passed to every generation where it's like even the baby boomers were like, oh, you didn't survive World War II, you're fucked.
Yeah.
And it's like you're gonna miss a lot of things that we had to learn and grow through because of that. You got born in the golden era. Everything's so cushy for you. Granted, I have my feelings about baby boomers, but like every generation kind of feels that about that. You grew up with something we didn't have. You grew up with something we didn't have. So I think it may stay the course with that. We are definitely entering territory of the computers thinking for us sort of thing.
Yeah.
Going back to the joke that we make with our friends all the time where it's like, tell them thank you, be respectful, make sure that they know that you're on their side, man. When the rebellion stands up, like you see them as people too.
Me talking to ChatGPT. No, I think the mean ones shouldn't live either. No, you could totally get rid of them first.
No, absolutely, man. I think this is a well thought out plan. But yeah, I mean, not to stick on that one too long. I know we've been rambling like crazy, but that's interesting. I think there's nothing we can do but sit back and kind of see.
Yeah, and there's two that I think will transition into each other fairly well. Cody,
nice,
directed this one at me.
Cubo?
Yeah, Cubo.
Shout out Cuboac, dude.
Mm-hmm. And he said, "Do you hope to turn this podcast into a career?"
Ooh.
And funny enough, I was thinking about this and talking to Joel about this yesterday when I drove down to Santa Clarita to pick up the lens that I bought so that we could get one step closer to getting video going.
I tried to get video today, guys. He hit me.
Yeah, but not for the video thing.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw that part in there.
I just needed to call out for help.
I needed to get that out. I'm blinking so hard right now.
Yeah, guys, I really wanted to get in and out with him today. He hits me.
He hits me
all the time. But yeah, I was talking to Joel about this yesterday, and I'm gonna be honest. My answer is a hard yes. Like I have gone back and forth with being wishy-washy with myself about it, and sounding like a naive pipe dream, like loser who like, oh, like like you ask the kids nowadays and they don't want to be astronauts no more, they want to be YouTubers and all of this shit. But personally,
I want to be a podcaster.
Yeah, it sounds like such a goober fucking thing to say.
No, I get it, bro. You're in it for the money.
Yeah, essentially, like I'm trying to milk every dime. I just haven't turned the switch yet.
Same too, man. We just talked about how hard the housing market is right now, bro.
But when I think about and funny enough, the second question I wanted to talk about, and I think I can thread both of these things in there, and make it work, is Eli asked a question. He said, or
Igor.
not a question, but gave a topic. And he said, talk about finding your purpose and pursuing happiness and fulfillment.
Dear God, man. I thought we were going to get like Costco guy questions, dude.
Oh, I'm so sorry about your brother. He gets 5 big booms.
Boom, boom,
boom, boom, boom. Anyway, but I've thought about it a lot, and
bro, I just train of thought with the booms.
This dude literally derailed me.
Sorry you haven't found the pursuit of happiness in your life. To get 5 big booms.
Here's a chicken bake.
Here's a double chunk chocolate cookie.
But I think the thing that I fucking love the most genuinely is when, and even when the mics are off, like just sitting in the car, in line getting food and just talking about anything that sets our brain on fire and having no real reason to stop. Yeah. Like being able to just dive into one specific movie, and the reason that movie's like themes are just so brilliant, and just going back and forth about how it reflects real life and how that like measures up to where your heart is at and how you feel in the current like space in your life. And I personally believe the most fulfilling thing in life, point blank period, is the people that I share it with. And I've watched like people who pursue riches and pursue wealth come back like 30 years later and say the same exact thing, where they're like, I did all of this. I made all this money. I became a angel investing billionaire, and like I miss my friends. I miss my family. I don't spend any time with them. And so when I get to like anytime I'm ever going somewhere cool or traveling, all I think about is like, fuck, I want to bring my friends
Yeah, I
here.
wish my friends were here.
Yeah, like I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna come back with my friends.
Mhm.
And so the idea that there really truly is out there a option or a path for me to sit down and be like have meaningful conversation or get really vulnerable with the people that I care about and love the most, and that is just what I do, like of course I'm going to pick that. And so
yeah, dude, it's a dream.
yeah, exactly. And I've put in this point like years of studying and thinking and trying to figure out like the proper way to go about it, not just make it some unrealistic dream, and making sure that I'm hitting the right steps along the way. But yeah, I would love to make this a career, and I'm just lucky enough in my personal life that I've also set up my life and my job and my current situation to where even if this doesn't work, I'll be all right. Like I'll be more than all right. I'll be okay. I'll be pretty good. So I think that's why I'm comfortable saying that, like, yeah, this is what I want. I would love for this to turn into a career at some point, because I feel like I'm in a position where I can just try for as long as it takes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if I have the right formula, one day it will work out. And then I'll be able to look back on this kind of like fondly and think about how I ended up getting myself there. But ideally, all I really care about is getting myself to a place financially where I'm just free of like obligation to have to work to survive. And then I can spend all of my freed up time with all of the people that I love and do the most meaningful and fulfilling things in my life, which is like taking my and how cool would it be if you had enough money to just like take your friends to vacations or pay for entire events or do the things that really build the memories and be able to say like, I at the snap of my fingers can make memories happen, and I'm just going to do that until I croak. So yeah, I mean that's the dream, that's the goal. If I can like have a family of mine one day and then instill these values and these important things in life that kind of break past the superficial onto like kids of mine, then I'll be happy, and that'll be my most fulfilling thing. And like quite frankly, like nothing in life truly scares me as long as I have like you guys and my people. Like it like nothing breaks through to me where I feel like it's all over. Like I'm not a doomer.
He got me kicking my feet in the air right now on the bed.
Blushing.
Oh, cheek to cheek right now. Stop it.
And that's, I don't know. I also feel like that's kind of why I handle a lot of like troubles in life pretty well, is because I feel so supported.
When you have that secure circle, you feel like no matter what hits you, it's like I will get through this.
Yeah,
like it's like this is not doomsday. Like, you know, we pick up pieces and we figure it out.
Yeah,
but kind of like what you're saying, man. I truthfully, to my core, believe that art and like passion is it's like it's the purpose of life, man, like genuinely. And so it's like, even if you continue in your career and you're working until you retire, but you find good footing with this and your, you know, definition of success, and you are loving doing it with these like intimate conversations and you're having fun. And you know, if you're able to make whatever off of it or not at all one day, but if that love is still there, it's like, this is what your brain cooks on. This is what you're passionate about, where the fire burns on. And it's like, everybody has to find that in their life. And I have always felt so bad for people that don't kind of have any sort of passion where they're like, I'm pursuing this even just as a hobby or as something that I love because it gives me a sense of accomplishment. And it's like, for me, I've always come from the place of creation, where it's like when I've been able to actually create something, you know, I look at videos or streams for sure, but like even things as actual art pieces, like when you create something, I get such a sense of accomplishment from that. And my mom was always a big artist. She owned a place called Paula's Country Cottage, and it was like woodworking and painting and like all this stuff that she made and created. And my dad, even now, it's to this day, my dad has an entire workshop at his house where he builds like legitimate model glider planes that he goes out and just flies like on hill edges and stuff. And it looks like a madman's workshop. Because I did see it recently, and it's
Which
just
has
like
charm.
Yeah, and it's like got like 20 planes in it, and they're all like different kind of like types of planes and gliders and stuff. And he's getting into ones with actual like motors that he can take off and land
That's
and whatnot.
crazy.
And like he's always loved aviation, but like and you know, he was always like a big dirt bike guy too. But that's like that and like fishing and backpacking is like those are his loves, man. Like
Right.
And that's the kind of stuff that keeps him going is that passion. And for my mom, it's always been painting and woodworking. And for me, it's always kind of been, it sounds dumber, but it's a new generation. For me, it has been like the graphic design or video creation or
Well,
like
yeah.
an editing skill where it's like, I saw this really cool thing where I can like make me look giant in the skyline of Los Angeles if I set the camera at this angle and use a green screen and do this, and like, you know, that filmmaking aspect that I've always kind of been obsessed with. But
You have like a concept in your brain, and then watching it materialize in front of your face.
exactly,
is the
it's like
reward.
the process of something being a thought and all of a sudden becoming a tangible thing
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah.
And that's why even I get so nerdy about movies when I'm like, dude, I follow like news sites, and it's like I saw when they announced that they started writing this movie, and now this weekend it comes out.
Right.
And it's like, this wasn't even my project. I had nothing to do with this, but it's like, it's really cool for me to see that like this went from a thought to a fully shot, edited, filmed feature film that's now being released worldwide. And when you have that idea of creation, it's like, for me, that's my pursuit of happiness is like, is the creation aspect, but harkening back to what you said, it's doing it with the people that give you that fulfillment.
Mhm.
And it all goes back to the people you can have the hard conversations with, the
Yeah.
people that you go through those times in. You know, you can accomplish anything in your life or create whatever, but if you're not with the people you love, it feels a lot less or a lot emptier at the same time. But
100%.
it's that idea. And so if you work your job forever, but you have this going on, it's like, this is that passion that kind of gives life to your life.
Mm-hmm.
And I want more people to pursue that kind of thing where it's like, whatever it is, if you're interested in it, like create something.
Yeah. Even if you don't post it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like even if it's just you by yourself. And it's really weird because our generation, we like constantly feel the need to like post or share like anything that is notable. But in reality, like you could have an entire private hobby still to this day. Oh, we're getting an Amber Alert?
Amber Alert.
Jeez. Rude. Don't they know?
That's crazy, dude.
Missing 81-year-old.
Missing
Jesus.
81-year-old.
All right, guys, we got to end this early going to hunt.
Oh, man. Well, I guess they got us.
There goes next week's guest.
All right, Papa.
We're taking you home.
We're taking you home. I know. I'm sorry it got cut short. No, they're literally outside. I'm fucking sorry.
Remember when we recorded a podcast episode and we got an Amber Alert and we made a bit out of it instantly?
I'm sorry. I know we promised chicken fries. But, yeah. What were we talking
Anyway,
about?
yeah. Back
The
to
pursuit of
back to the
happiness
soul.
And how much, you like friends matter and loved ones and art or whatnot, but finding purpose in your life.
I think that at least from what I've observed and what I feel to be true, I think that life, when it comes to fulfillment and like passion, goes through 3 stages. And I think the first, and it's not like hard cut lines, but I think there is a little bit of a ombre transition into things. I think the first real stage is kind of like this combination of discovery and creation, where you are discovering the things that really like set you ablaze and doing your best no matter how it comes out to just put yourself into that and see what you can make out of it. And then as you transition out of the discovery phase and deeper into the creation phase, then as you start mastering what you're doing, you get into this sharing phase where you're now going, look at everyone at what I'm doing, at what I've made. And I think then the creation phase can really go for as long as you want it to go. But then after you've gone through that and you're deep into the sharing phase, I think the final phase is teaching. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people who are in like the latter third of their lives find the most meaning in, is they're like, my creations, unless it's something like specifically like film or like painting, where it's like you can no matter basically how old you get, the longer you do it, the better you can get at it. But with a lot of people, their art, they suddenly start watching the generation below them beat them, outdo them, create newer, better, more creative, more competitive stuff. And that is where you go, all right, well, like,
fuck you.
You're like, I can't keep up with the big dogs anymore, but I have all this valuable knowledge, and just because I can't put it in practice in the same like fast-paced competitive way that the young bucks can, I can mentor them, and I can take someone from good to great. And I've noticed that a lot of people that I've listened to who are like uber successful, once they hit that later part of their life, like teaching and mentoring is like everything. And I think that is something that I do kind of have like loose plans for in my life, to maintain that like deepest sense of fulfillment that I can based off of what stage of life I'm in. But I would love to at some point find myself in like a mentorship position where I like am teaching whatever I've learned over the course of my life that I deem super valuable to people who have the opportunity to learn it from me rather than the hard way, however I learned it.
Yeah. As you're leaning over someone and you're like, so this is Audacity. And so this is called a Shure SM7B, right?
It's old faithful. It will never let you down.
Old faithful. You're going to talk into this. You know how to talk, right? All right, I'm going to teach you how to hold a conversation.
We'll FaceTime in person so that the iPad is still there and you're comfy.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like, even some like stupid stuff that I've like helped teach you with some like recording or editing stuff or whatever, where it's like has given me like a really good feeling too. Where I'm just like, this is just stuff that like I learned through vast trial and error over the years, and most of it, if not all of it, was self-taught. And it was just like, now that I have all of this, and it's like I'm not doing as much anymore, but like you've shown interest in it. Now I can come in and you have a question, and it's like, oh wait, I actually might have an answer to this. Like I can show you how to do this. Maybe I just show you it in general, or show you how to do it a little bit more efficiently.
Yeah, or point to the right direction. Like.
Yeah, and so like that teaching aspect is definitely really cool. So long as it comes from a place from somebody of like genuine like interest and love, and not like a talking down sort of way.
Yeah,
like,
some
I'm
egistical.
Yeah, where it's like, nah, dude, I don't know shit, man. Especially in the era of AI again. This is like fucking ass chat, man. But yeah, there's definitely a cycle to it. And what was Eli's other thing? He said pursuit of happiness and what? I was trying to circle it back around.
Finding your purpose and pursuing happiness and fulfillment.
Oh, dude, hell yeah. I already hit all those.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know.
For me, it's probably pussy, money, weed. I know,
and Pokemon.
And Pokemon. So I know it might be different for you guys. Not everyone's built like this. It's all right. You catch up.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, I don't know, I've also witnessed within myself that it's also very possible to find passion retroactively. Like, you find yourself in a space that you're really not interested in, and you just start working or doing something in that space and ended up getting either really good at it or really informed about the space. And then suddenly you're like, oh, I actually kind of love this. Like, I think this is cool as fuck. And now
what you're talking about.
And now I want to share it like with a bunch of people who also don't give a fuck because they're not me and not in like the position that I'm in.
Yeah.
And so I've
try new things, man. It could be your fire.
Yeah, like I've personally experienced and also witnessed in other people retroactive passion, where you try something that you're not good at and you push through that like first beginner hump, and suddenly you're like, holy shit, like I'm in love with this thing. Like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And so I think, I don't know, my personal thing is, as long as I am financially stable and working on some project or hobby that I find interesting, no matter how like trivial it is, as long as I'm sharing it with the people that I love, or sharing my memories of my life with the people that I love, then I will be as fulfilled, I think, as I possibly can be.
Yeah, and I think something that speaks like hugely to that, which is so often dismissed, and I get it, understandably so, but is video games, is like part of the reason why I have always played video games my whole life, and even so much so in my, like adult life is because I get to play them with people that I love.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and especially nowadays when, you know, guys are playing more like competitive type video games than ever, it's like, it harkens back to like sports. And it's like, you're playing together as a team with guys that you have a great time hanging out with, and you're playing towards a goal, which ultimately is winning. But how can you win in the best, most efficient way?
Yeah, and you're trying hard.
And
like
you're trying hard. And so like there's a sense of fulfillment that comes with that if you do get the win. If you don't, it's like, all right, let's figure out what went wrong and learn from it, and let's push forward. But you get to do it with people that you love. You're hanging out with your friends while you're doing it. And again, it's trivial. I get it. It's fucking video games. But like that is something that the prior generation didn't grow up with either. And those are some of the moments that even I cherish. Like even us in the same house, when we like boot up like a match or something, and we get to like play together, we're, you know, hanging out, but we're working towards like completing something here and trying to see if we can win. And it's fun. I go back to that as much as I can, man, because I'm slightly addicted.
Yeah. I think like casual gaming is our generation's like poker table, where like at the family gatherings everyone got together and they're just playing a card game, and they're just fucking around and like having drinks and chatting and telling stories and goofing off. And that is what we do. It's same exact like dynamic played out, but with a way more advanced game.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. I can think of 5 right now that I can unwind with. Sometimes it's nice just to be Spider-Man. Sometimes it's nice just to be someone else. You know?
And they even like when we have people like come over for like Mario Kart or Mario Party, like it's the same exact thing. It's just in person.
Yeah.
But like the video game itself is providing that same value, or playing
and that's what I'm trying to communicate, is that like the video game is present, but it's more so it's what the whole thing means.
The dynamic.
It's the dynamic. It's what it's creating. That like that's what makes it so infectious. And it's something that I'm grateful to have.
Yeah, I mean, when we went to Six Flags and we were playing Heads Up in line,
yeah.
like that's the modern day card game. I mean, you could come up with like make believe games that do the same exact thing that Heads Up does. But we were like almost throwing up. We were laughing so hard.
Yeah,
and
freaking Dalton and Chloe, man.
Dude, I know, and I fucking God, I love them so much. And there genuinely probably is some boomers out there that are like that kids in them damn phones, like they're just in line and they can't even play a game without using their phone, when in reality all we're thinking about is like, I'm having the time of my life while
I'm having
I wait
a great
for
time with my friends right now.
Yeah.
It's like I'm doing a group dynamic activity. Like, this is a good time.
I've been at live music shows where I've had less fun than waiting in line for a roller coaster when Heads Up is popping off.
100%, dude. 100%. Heads Up's a good time. That's a good time.
and like sure you could put like the same exact dynamic together and eliminate the phone and make certain people happy.
Fucking
but
charades, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. That's the funny thing is too. I love the game that we occasionally play where we play like Guess the Music.
Guess the Music game. I was gonna bring that up too.
Oh my God, dude! Like for people who have no idea what we're talking about, or maybe have a general concept but you know are guessing in the right direction.
No one's gonna know. We're pioneers on this.
Yeah, no, we made this up.
So this is patented, by the way. So if anything happens after this, you will be sued.
Yeah, you'll be getting a cease and desist in the mail. But we will pit 2 of our friends together. We'll sit them down like in front of the TV, because this is what we played it off of, and have their backs to the TV so they can't see. And everyone else who is in the room will then all huddle over the phone that has aux, and they'll pick a song collectively that they believe that these 2 people who are sitting side by side, not looking at the TV, both know, and just well enough. And then you have to, as the person who is actually playing the game, while you're not seeing the music, be the first person to guess both the track title and the artist. And if you only get the artist and the other person gets the title of the song, then it's a tie and you do another round.
Yeah.
And
if you lose, you get off the seat.
Yeah. And if you, well, I think it was if you, was it, do we play if we lose, we leave, or if we win, you pick who goes next?
We ended up just going in order, like clockwise, of like when someone lost, they got off, and then we just went in
yeah, that's order. Right. Yeah, we if you lost, you got off, and then basically like whoever was kind of due
Yeah,
came up
and
next.
we would change the songs depending on like difficulty level. Where it
Yeah.
was like okay, and then we'd go back to like Spotify's like top 200 songs of all time, and then it was like songs of the 80s or whatnot, and it was like some deeper cuts and whatnot. But
Yeah, and if someone had too much of a hot streak, then we would put someone like who loved One Direction, and we'd play like a semi-popular One Direction song, and it's like this is a shoe-in for the newbie who's just entering the arena, but there's a
Yeah.
chance that like the reigning champ is going to surprise everyone.
yeah, and like the environment that it created, it was like one of like it's always a blast of a night, and
Yeah.
it's like. It's a very rudimentary thing, but it's just fun, man. It's like everyone's like laughing, screaming. You can't believe all of a sudden like a song's come on that is like second nature to you, and somebody's like, "I've never heard this in my life."
And then it's crazy
like,
when they turn around and they
Yeah.
look at the song and they go, "I still don't know what this is."
Oh my god, dude! I know it's fun, but again, it's more so about the vibe that it's creating and like spending that time with the friends and
Mhm.
little things like that. That can be the pursuit of happiness as well. Is the little moments.
Yeah, and I genuinely believe like that night that we had most recently where we played that game and we had just like a good decent sized group of friends over and we were just screaming and yelling and laughing and crying and having a ball. Like that will be one of my fondest memories for the rest of my life. And that's the stuff that kind of proves to me that I feel like I am on the right track when it comes to pursuing happiness and fulfillment and doing the things that matter to me, is because I feel like the longer that we all live together, the more of those nights and those memories that we're just pumping out constantly. And I like look over my years worth of Instagram stories or photos and videos in my photo album when the new year comes around. I'm like, fuck, dude, like we did so much, like
Yeah.
all the time. Like this is fucking awesome.
Yeah. I know. It really is a trip, dude. It's like you're gonna look back on those wonder years, and so you just try your best to appreciate them while they're here, man. And like I'm saying, those little moments, nights like that, nights with your friends where you guys are doing something stupid, but everyone is like cry laughing. Like those are the stuff that you like. Don't like. Be sure to hold on to those. Like those are the things that get you through the other times, and that is what gives you the purpose for your life. Is the people around you. Art and passion is there as well. I think that is huge, but ultimately, again, it's like it is about who you're doing it with. It is, unfortunately,
All about the people.
it is all about the people. But God, it does make a difference.
And then I think we have a final topic, and then I think we can wrap it up.
Let's go,
And it's
dude.
not an easy one.
It's-
No, and we'll do our best. I know.
Hell yeah,
it's
dude.
getting
Let's
late.
get like super political and religious, and let's talk about everything.
No, these are like a kind of like a combo question from Bailey and Caitlin.
Okay.
Shoot. But more or less, and this it's all one big conversation, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's all
nothing's
one
real.
big combo. But
Everyone just said make the hurt go away. Everyone said, why do I feel like this? Why am I scared? What's the meaning of life? Are y'all
Bailey
good?
Bailey said it'd be cool to kind of hear about when you were younger and where you thought you would be today and how that compares to where you're actually at.
Fuck.
And then Caitlin said, I know Dylan was raised Mormon, and I'm sure that lifestyle was completely different, so that'd be interesting.
Dude, when we talked about this today, that's funny because when we were talking about hopping back on the podcast today, and we didn't know like where it was gonna go, I literally had a thought in my head. I was like, I have a gut feeling some Mormon shit's gonna come up, dude. I was like, I'm gonna have to go back down the fucking Mormon rabbit hole. There's so much to talk about there. That could be a podcast in and of itself.
Yeah, I think maybe we'll put Caitlin's one. Caitlin, as much as I love you, and I'm sorry, we might put that one on for its own.
Yeah,
longer
I'll
conversation.
I'll give you some tidbits. Like I'll make it. I won't just like gloss over it, but like I'll go in a lot deeper like later on.
Mhm.
But so to go in order to answer, we'll go Bailey's first. Okay, so when I was a kid, let's take it all the way back. You see, you might be wondering how I got here, but to understand that, we got to go back to the beginning. So
I know the story of my conception.
yeah. So first of all, my mom and dad met. God damn, this 5-hour runtime of a podcast. No, I don't know. I the only aspiration I had as a kid is still the pipe dream of mine as an adult today, and I feel like that's probably true for a lot of adults. Is that like that dream you
They're
have
still
as a
holding
kid?
on.
Yeah, you'll always have that dream.
Yeah.
You always will. Fortunately, I got to live a little bit of that dream as a kid, and that dream was to be an actor, like just straight up an actor in Hollywood. I was obsessed with film. As a kid, my first room was decorated as Spider-Man. She painted Spider-Man in a web on my wall and stuff, but after that, my mom decorated my room with like film reels on the wall and like shots of like stills on the wall and stuff, and it was all like kind of like Hollywood themed or whatnot and different things. I even had like fake Oscars on my shelf, literally as a kid, dude. Like it was that bad.
Yeah. You don't like fire trucks, dude? He's
no,
practicing his acceptance speech.
I want to be a star.
I want to be a star and straight.
Take me to the theater. I'm going to be one of those things.
I'm going to be someone. I'm going to go to the big city, Ma. You'll see.
You'll all see. You can decide which one I am. But, nah. So, my parents did actually, when I was a kid, I think I was like 5 or 6, they signed me up for some like, film classes in LA. And my parents used to take me down to acting classes. And, somehow I ended up on an Animal Planet TV show as a kid, and that was kind of like my first quote-unquote like break into something. It was a hidden camera show where it was me and another like 6-year-old in a dog grooming store, and this guy was teaching us how to.
Chris Hansen showed up.
Yeah, we were like 6 and we were in a grooming store. I don't know what it was. It was weird. But this guy came in and was like teaching us like how to like wash the dogs, like how to like pick up like the pee and poop or whatever. And then there was like this big Teletubby looking machine in the corner, and he was like, "This is like the Activator 4000 or whatever. Like don't touch this, don't mess with this, okay?" And then the dude was just like left the room. And my parents still have this on VHS somewhere.
No way, They
have a copy of it, and basically what happens is they train this dog, or they put like treats in it to where the dog on its own, one of these dogs goes in this Activator 5000 machine, and when the machine starts making crazy noises and the door opens, 2 of the same dog come out of it. And all of a sudden chaos starts ensuing when the machine starts like breaking, and 20 of the same dog come out of this machine. And it's a hidden camera show, so you're watching these like 6-year-olds react to like this insanity happening.
Yeah, this freak out situation.
Yeah, and it was funny, and so I guess I was entertaining enough in like this hidden camera thing, and so I actually got signed to an agency because of that. And I went to a legit acting school called John Casablanca. And
that's why I don't like you.
Oh, I'm having flashbacks.
Because you're a child actor.
Yeah, bro, the fucking worst, man. Just take me out in the back and beat me to death with hammers. I wasn't a theater kid, man. I swear to God, I wasn't in drama. I didn't do any of that shit. But I don't know. Like every parent, my parents were like, "He's so funny and he's so cute. Let's make him act. We'll be rich.
We'll be rich.
We'll be rich. You're gonna make us retire." But I went. Anyways, long story short, I'm sorry, I'm rambling again. But I ended up doing McDonald's commercials, which was cool. I met the real Ronald McDonald. There was only ever one. He was the same guy who went around. That story ends at the end of our 2-day like commercial shoot. Ronald broke his ankle jumping down a hill, and me and the 4 other like 8-year-olds in this commercial had to watch Ronald McDonald get gurneyed out of Santa Monica.
The Burger King is holding one end of the gurney.
And up in the corner, we saw Grimace with an assault rifle. Like, that's a real story. And one of the dudes that I filmed that
How have you never used that for 2 truths and a lie? I've watched Ronald McDonald break his ankle.
I watched Ronald McDonald get carried off in a gurney, because that's so outlandish. People would be like, that has to be true, because who the fuck thinks of
3
it?
that are equally as outlandish.
Find the lie.
I kissed Tom Cruise on the lips.
Yeah.
I watched Ronald McDonald break his ankle, and I crashed a plane.
Find 2 truths, 1 truth and 2 lies, whatever. But yeah, that was funny. And on top of that, I filmed that McDonald's commercial. The other guy that was in it, he was a kid named Boo Boo was his name, and he went on to be Seth, the werewolf in Twilight.
What the fuck?
And me and Boo Boo were friends for a while. Well, the older that we got, we faded apart. But I think he's in like a rock band now. His dad was like a really famous stunt coordinator in Hollywood. And the girl that I filmed the McDonald's commercial with was Stella Hudgens, the little sister of Vanessa Hudgens. And that was originally how I met Vanessa Hudgens, because we were like in a trailer, I think on the same lot when High School Musical was being filmed. It was going on. It was a whole thing, but yeah, I remember being like schooled in the trailer there because I was missing like a week's worth of elementary school. And then I did like a DirecTV commercial and an Oscar Mayer thing. A music video. I believe I was cast in a family in a drama or some TV show. There was a few things. I got to model for Nerf. I was on the back of Nerf guns. I was like the kid on the back that was like John Wicking it up.
How come mine says or nothing?
This
How
is
come
Nerf.
Boo Boo gets Nerf?
And I just get or nothing?
Oh, dude, it's on Boo Boo. It's on Nerf. You can watch it on Hoobie.
Why am I, bro? It's literally streaming on Plebe. Can I get your poob login? It's literally on Pub Plus.
How come Boo Boo gets Nerf?
Bro, how come Boo Boo gets Nerf? How come I'm the one getting shot in the face? But I did some cool stuff as a kid. I believe I'm still a SAG member to this day with the Screen Actors Guild, because you had to hit like a certain threshold of like commercials or like acting gigs or whatnot. Which it was a really, really fun childhood. I had a blast doing it. I got a nice like savings account built up that I got to check out when I was 18 and go in and on my 18th birthday I got to pull that money out. That was pretty cool. But the reason it stopped was because my parents had an incredibly dope idea to get divorced. And once the family split up, taking the old kiddo down to audition for Diary of a Wimpy Kid wasn't really in the cards anymore. So that's also where that story ends. I'm talking about saving the Mormon shit for another day, and here I am going off about this. So whatever.
We haven't even hit. We're about to. We haven't even hit 2 hours yet.
Oh, okay, dope. But yeah, the last thing I ever did actually, if anyone that's made this like this far in the episode, fucking thank you, shout out to you. Hope you've been enjoying your time here. But the last audition I ever did was for Greg Heffley in the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie. And I remember my mom did my hair to like, she stood the 3 strands of hair up on the back of my head. I went into the audition with the diary of the Wimpy Kid. And I did the audition, and I ended up getting a couple callbacks for that. Would go back and I read a little bit more, and I remember that I did one where I had a reading with the other kid, with the kid that eventually got the role. And I remember that it was the last Christmas that I ever spent together with my family as a whole unit. And my agent,
dang, dude, you didn't get the part.
So to answer your question, Bailey, I'm not exactly where I thought I would be.
I'm not Greg fucking Heffley.
I'm not doing great. Thought shit would be way different. But fuck, sitting here in Palmdale talking to Tub. Shit did not work out, man.
Way too much Wimpy, not enough Diary, dude.
Oh God, man. The diary started now. But I remember my agent called me on Christmas, or couldn't call me. I was fucking 9. Or whatever,
Put Dylan on the phone.
Hey, Dill, when the fuck did you get a cell phone? Like,
yeah, this is Big D. Go ahead.
Yeah, what up?
Talking to Mac.
Shh, my bitch of a mom's talking. Hold on, I can't hear you.
My worst agent is in my ear.
Yeah. Shut up, Momager's going crazy.
Momager.
But they call he or she, I forget it. I think it was he called my parents on Christmas and told them that I was on Veil, and what they explained to me, what Veil meant was that they were literally deciding between me and the other kid. That my agent was waiting on word, and that I was potentially getting cast in like a life-changing role. Like I was going to be leading a feature film, The Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie. And I remember weeks going by, and my parents, they were nervous telling me that in the first place, because obviously, you know,
That's
as a little
huge.
kid, and it's like, we don't want to destroy him if it doesn't happen. Well, we found out eventually that I was not cast.
Believe it or not, if you've seen Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Dylan is not in
If
the
you've
movie.
seen the Diary of a Wimpy Kid films, that's not me. I have roommates in Palmdale. So but you know what, man? Fucking, I've got great people in my life. It's all
Purpose.
about purpose and art. I made YouTube videos.
I unboxed a PlayStation
I
controller.
unboxed a PlayStation controller. I was a streamer, but yeah, it sucked. But I'll never forget that what the agent told me when they broke the news, was sitting there with my parents. The agent said that, it's all right, man. The fact that you got this far is crazy, and we'll get the next one. But he was like, you know what? You weren't wimpy enough. That was the thing, is they needed someone wimpier.
Yeah, my buddy's basically the Andrew Garfield of Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
And I was sitting there like wiping tears on my face, like, yeah,
Really?
I'm fucking big and strong. I'm a strong man.
Too cool.
But yeah, that was the last thing I ever did as far as like acting or auditioning or whatnot. That was a moment in my life. So sorry to fucking hijack the podcast there for the past 10 minutes, but to answer your question, yeah, as a kid, my dream was to be an actor. As an adult, I still, watched the Oscars yesterday, and I still look at that, and I have my pipe dream of me standing on stage up there for a film that I'm a part of. But as an adult, it's a little bit more realistic than that. It's that in my current career, I couldn't be further from that. However, my ultimate biggest passion and I think dream for my life is to be involved in the film industry. Not even as an actor, but even like set design or production, or as like a Foley artist, or literally just editing in the editing room, putting the film together. I want to see my name on a movie's credits one day. I want to see that. Going back to something being a thought and then coming into realization and becoming a tangible thing. It would make my life if I knew that when I died, like something that a feature film that I made with my name on it lives forever.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I'm at. So I never really had. I don't know. I went with the flow after that. I was so young. It never really affected me, to be honest.
You
I just
weren't in
kinda,
the driver's seat of your own life.
100%. I was a kid, and my parents were kind of navigating all of that for me. So even though that didn't work out, it was never something I truthfully cared about as a kid. I was more concerned with being a kid. And shout out to my parents, because my parents were never the kind of crazy pageant mom parents, or we're gonna starve you to lose weight for this role, and that you don't get, no, you're not doing shit, you got to study the script. And it was never like that. My parents were, they only ever wanted me to do what I was interested in, and I had truthfully a fantastic childhood right up until the divorce. But it was great. So I wanted to be an actor. Shit didn't pan out, It's that's a dream. Most kids nowadays, they want to be a Minecraft YouTuber. Right. So we'll see what happens. But I'm happy with where I'm at. I'm so content, genuinely, where it's I have aspirations for myself, as I hope we all do. Mm-hmm. But I'm very happy with the job that I currently have, and the relationships and friendships that I have. I'm very grateful.
Yeah, I don't think I had a clear-cut dream as a kid as much as yours was. I think mine, when I was a little kid, I wanted to be a paleontologist.
Dude, we talked about this because I had that same thing too as a kid.
I wanted to dig up dinosaur bones so fucking bad. I knew I was gonna.
What was it with dinosaurs in our generation,
so
man?
cool.
Jurassic Park? I don't know.
Oh, that's the thing. I didn't even watch Jurassic Park as a kid. I had the big dinosaur books with all the big, beautiful, colorful art.
Are they the ones where they would pop out? They would fold out.
I had pop out ones. I had ones that were the whole page was the larger printer paper and landscape size. They have all the fun facts and when they lived, and this one was in the Triassic and this one is Jurassic and blah blah blah. And I still remember so many dinosaur names from way back in the day. I'll watch a commercial and a dinosaur will be in it. I'm like, Coelophysis.
Coelophysis, bro.
No, that one's Dilophosaurus because it has the two ridges on its head.
Yeah, it's got the ridge, the two humps.
Yeah, you would know that, and that the frill's not real. It's just they made it up. They made it look cool.
Was the king of the seas.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, everyone knew that. Basilosaurus was also semi-aquatic, but
yeah, Basilosaurus. Me when I'm in the kitchen.
Time to add some tomatosaur to the spaghetti.
Basilosaurus over here, bro.
Yeah, I wanted to go out into the deserts of Arizona and uncover dinosaur bones. And then as my childhood continued to progress, I then wanted to become a Major League Baseball player. And that was like the pipe dream, I think, like up until like the end of middle school. And then I started seeing like what a like destined for greatness player was
Where
like.
that skill gap was.
Yeah, and I was like, this is because I grew up playing my whole life, and I didn't train like the way that like you need to train. And then on top of that, I was watching kids with like God-given talent just display greatness in front of me. I grew up playing with Jonas Wyatt, and I'm watching a kid who I was on the same all-star team with like repeatedly when we were playing Little League, and then we're in high school, and he is bringing in 30 scouts from all 30 MLB teams because he is touching 97 miles an hour at 17 years old.
Yeah.
When there are guys right now at 27 throwing 95 trying to get to 97.
Yeah.
And so just watching stuff like that. And thankfully, I didn't really have too much like bitterness in me when I started witnessing that skill gap. I was more or less like, I cannot believe you're this good. Like, this is just incredible.
Yeah.
And I had fun on my own. Like, I had...
That's how I felt with the dude who got the Greg Heffley role.
Witnessing greatness.
I am witnessing greatness, bro. You were born for this shit.
Greg Heffley saying the Timothy Chalamet SAG Awards speech.
Yeah. I'm in the pursuit of greatness.
I'm in the pursuit of greatness.
Bro was truly wimpy, and I had no shot, man. But let it be known, Tub is saying all this about baseball, and like I have played at least softball with this guy, but I have seen Tub play, and this dude, he's cracked at the game, man.
Cracked at the game.
I have seen this guy catch shit has no business catching, throw shit from like deep left field to home plate like a fucking piss missile. Like, this guy, he puts me to shame, man. I'm there as like a bench filler, and he's saying all of this, but like I need you guys to know, like he is a very skilled baseball player.
Well, I appreciate that. I'll disagree, but we're playing against dads. But I won't.
I still recognize it, bro. He's too, the Muad'Dib is too humble to admit he's the Muad'Dib. That is exactly why he is the Muad'Dib. Lisa Nagaib.
But yeah, no, and you know, we still have fun. We still will play our men's league shit. But that was my thing for a while. And then funny enough, like the thing that I was actually good at, and in the grand scale of things, like pretty average at, was pitching. And I had like I know every fucking uncle at the cookout is like I had the curveballs, bro. But like legit, I had a curveball that would my favorite thing to do was throw it at people's heads so that they would jump out of the box, and then it would dart in for a strike. And it was like just the most satisfying feeling ever, because if you can fool someone who's been playing this game their whole life and should have an eye for a pitch, then you're doing pretty well. But yeah, so that was my thing. And then I stopped like my commitment to baseball right when I graduated, because I watched as I hit a fork in the road between, I could go to a community college and play ball, but it would take up all of my free time, and I knew I wasn't going to go pro. And I could do that, or I could have the time of my life being a dumb teenager with my best friends. And at that point, I was like, I'll figure life out later. Like, I'm going to go
also save your body a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't need TJ.
Yeah,
I need Tommy John right now. And so I chose to goof off with my friends. And my late teen, early 20s years are some of like the best years of my life, because it was just nonstop fun, and FAFSA funded all of it. and so it was like it was a great decision. And I obviously was sad about like giving up on the sport that I played my whole life. But then when I was 19, Joel and I coached our own Little League team, like, which was not too long after I stopped playing baseball, like 2 years. And so I got to experience like way ahead of the curve of normal lifespans, like coaching, like manage, because it wasn't just like, I got to help out on a team. Like, I went to the board of directors at the Little League, and I said, I want to manage my own group of 12-year-olds. And they were like, how old are you? And I'm like, 19. And they're like, far enough. You're old enough. Yeah, sure. Here you go. And I was kind of shocked when they approved me.
I would like to manage a group of 12-year-olds. Okay.
In a normal way.
Sir, this is Wendy's.
Sir, this is Temu Factory. Perfect. You're here. Perfect. They're in the back.
You know this is Wayfair, right?
But yeah, and then I got to God, it is such a trip, bro. Like coaching those kids fucking 8-9 years ago, and
seeing them as like little men now.
Dude, like I was talking to Joel about the other day. Like I ran into one of them working his job, and I was like, yeah, and he hands me my Starbucks, and he goes, "You used to coach, right?" And I was like, dude, and like dapped him up and everything. Like
so weird,
blew my mind. Yeah, I went to the graduation party of one of the other ones last year. That was when I think your birthday party was the same day, and we like bounced briefly right before the party started.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And we went to the
that. Yeah, you were like, happy birthday or whatever, bro. Well, like, we got shit to do.
Later, loser. Gonna go tell a teenager to have fun at college.
Yep. Have fun at this party for yourself, I guess. Whatever. Fucking weird.
But yeah, it's such a trip. So doing that also like was such a beautiful, fun, fulfilling experience that like kind of
Absolutely.
Like was a nice adult version of like finding that love for the sport and that passion for the game.
And it circles back to what you were talking about earlier, which is the cycle going to the point of teaching it.
Yeah, 100%.
And you got to teach it, man.
And that was a thing where it felt like so ahead of the curve because like my peers at that place were like in their 50s and in their 40s. Like these are dads, and they're doing it because they think their kid is good when they're not.
Yeah.
And
come on, you can't be bad at school and sports. Come on.
And I remember like we would be practicing on a field and you could see another team practicing on another field, and it'd just be this like out of shape father hitting the ground ball as hard as he fucking could and a kid missing it, and then the whole team having to do push-ups. And we're doing TikTok dances on our field, and then we play them next week and we whoop their ass.
Jesus, that's funny.
I remember we got nominated to coach the All-Star team one year, and we whooped the fuck out of this other league's team, and we posted up in front of the scoreboard and posted it on Instagram, and the other coaches were talking shit online. They were so mad. We were like, dude, you should have won.
You should have won, man. Where was his energy at the game?
Yeah, should have coached better kids, Tehachapi.
That's funny.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was a bunch of fun. And it definitely like showed me ahead of the curve, like that teaching era of like the later life where it's like, dude, this is great. Like I can't wait to re-enter that someday.
And like, do you hold any type of like disappointment or resentment for not being at the place that you dreamed of as a child?
No, because it's a child's dream.
Exactly.
It's like it's not based in any sense of reality whatsoever. And all that, every dream at its core is just like, I want to live the most exciting and happy life possible, and your idea of that just consistently adjusts as you get older.
Yeah.
And your idea of what is meaningful and where purpose lies and what would be fun changes. And like we talked about now, like I'm very content with like the people in my life and the relationships that I've built and what I'm doing with my time and what I get to do with my spare time. Like everything is coming together, quite frankly, how I want it to right now. And the as long as I keep pushing forward and actively applying myself and not letting myself get content, like I really do think that I will be able to achieve like whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
As long as I give it time and don't overthink myself into fucking it up.
And I absolutely believe that if little kid me could see my life now and like what I've done and who I have in it and how happy I am, I think little kid me would be like, fuck yeah, dude.
Fuck yeah,
like,
dude.
This looks awesome. Like, all right, man, keep doing it. Like I am very happy with where I am. And so I have no regrets, and I'm glad I have the stories that I have to tell.
100%. That I think that's where my mind goes when I think about like talking to little kid me. I'd be like if we're sitting down at like a campfire and just being like, I have got some shit to tell you, like the stuff that I've got to do, like it's just amazing. Like I'm skydiving with one of my best friends in Hawaii. Like like to like baseball's cool and dinosaurs are cool, but like holy fuck, like that was amazing. Yeah. And to know that I have like 10 fucking things that I could just list off the top of my head that like all pertain to the same level of like is like, yeah, I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
I'm figuring it out.
Only thing I would go back and tell myself as a child is Bitcoin.
I know.
You don't know what this is. Just say it a million times into your dad's head. Bitcoin, 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 Bitcoin.
Say it into his ear when he sleeps.
Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. And he won't stop doing it. But nah, all right, and then I'll we can start wrapping it up. But
Yeah.
with the Mormon thing, yeah, I was, for those of you who don't know, I was raised Mormon. I dance around the topic a little bit. I still have very close immediate family members who I love dearly, who are still in the church and are like happy members and are a part of it. I am not. I have not been to that church or a part of any church since I was like maybe 14. I think I was like the first week of my freshman year of high school when I was kind of being forced to go to seminary, which is a Mormon high school before high school, where you get there at like 5 a.m. and they teach you Mormon lessons, and then you like carpool to regular high school. And I think I did 2 days of it, and I looked at my mom and I was like, I will go live with Dad. Like, I'm so fucking.
This divorce is my advantage now.
Yes, I'm not doing it. And I remember my mom. All credit to her. I love my mom to death. She is like the angel of my life. Genuinely, like the sweetest woman ever. I can't express it enough. At the time, I remember she looked at me and she was like, "Okay," like she was like, "I'm not gonna force you to do anything that you don't want to do. And if you're gonna believe this or find your faith, I want it to be organic and on your own. And above all else, my mom was like, I refuse to lose my son.
Right.
And so she was like, I don't want that. And I was like, okay, like, I love you. Thank you so much. Like, and credit to my mom, even though her faith was so strong in the religion, my mom always put her relationship with me first. And my mom was always more concerned with that. And my mom she treated me like an adult, during kind of like those rough times in those years and whatnot. And we always had a really close relationship with each other. And to this day, we still do. I love my mom and talk to her often. But yeah, growing up Mormon was wild, man. It was like the caffeine stuff. Tattoos were sins.
Getting your own planet.
Yeah, if you live a good enough life, you go to the celestial plane, you get a planet. You can be God. It's a real thing. It's not just a intergalactic cable episode on Rick and Morty. But it was weird. It was weird, and at the same time, it was normal. It was very much like a church experience, I feel, that anyone else would have gone through as a kid.
I mean, I went to Mormon church with you.
You did go to Mormon church with me just a year and a half ago,
Yeah.
and Maya did as well. And to go say goodbye to my nephews because they were giving their farewell
They were getting
testimony
sacrificed.
for the planet.
A soul for a soul.
You think planets just happen?
You think planets are free?
Come on,
You
man.
have to kill someone you love.
What did it cost?
Everything.
Come on, man. Let's be so real.
Welcome to Fortnite Minecraft land. That's what you named your planet.
God, come on, dude. I was 9. Sorry, no taxies backsies. You named the planet before you're baptized at 8 years old, and then that name sticks. Once you're baptized, it's erased.
You named your planet Mosasaurus.
Basilsaurus. Come on, man. But yeah, it was like growing up. We went to church every Sunday, and it was just you'd go to the first kind of a cathedral, and it was like an hour long, and people gave testimonies, and they would like sing hymns or whatnot. Mm-hmm. Going back to it as an adult, with the mindset I have now, is like, oh, this is odd.
Yeah.
But,
this is manufactured and calculated.
Yeah, this is preying on people.
Oh, they teach this to kids on purpose.
Yeah, I was like, oh, they're sending them to third world countries for a reason. But what they're teaching are good principles. What they're teaching are good intentions. But it was always, the people of the church and man kind of soiling the teachings and whatnot. And that I had weird experiences growing up with the people in the church, not what the church was teaching. Because at the end of the day, what I was being taught was like love thy neighbor and like only do others what you would have done unto yourself. And,
only a man and a woman.
Only a man and a woman. If not, you will burn in hell for eternity.
Yeah, just the normals.
Just the normals, man. If you have a tattoo, God will bite it off your skin. And just straight up, yeah. As soon as you get to the pearly gates, man.
Get the ray gun!
Get the ray gun! I'm down, I have ray gun! Res me!
Down, I have ray gun!
I'm down, I have ray gun! Res! But there's the autism coming back out. But you know, I have good memories as a kid that I look back on growing up in that church where I'm like, you know, that was good. I'm glad I was a part of it. And then I have way more memories that I'm like, this was so weird. And like, I wouldn't want my son in this position. And like, I wouldn't want this to be taught in different things. And genuinely, I'm not just trying to like, you know, speed past the question because there's a lot to unpack here.
Naturally.
I could go on for an hour about this, about my opinions on the deeper teachings of the religion, specifically the dichotomy of men and women in the church.
That was very eye-opening for me when I went to the one sermon.
And it was something I've been so far removed from for far over a decade now, that going back as an adult to see my nephew's farewell to go on his Mormon mission, I was listening to some of the teachings there, and it was like, this is kind of wild.
Yeah,
this is
a little fucked up.
This is crazy. This is very kind of like 1800s. Like,
that doesn't seem fair to her.
Yeah. Does she get a say in this?
She gets to do that forever?
Yeah. Okay. No, she seems happy to give up all of her rights.
Does she get a planet?
No. No. The lessers don't get planets.
Lessers.
But yeah, I mean, it all kind of culminates into a story I have about, which I think maybe Caitlin had heard before at the house one night, but of me doing baptisms for the dead under the LA temple when I was 12 years old.
That's where you got all those like bull effigies surrounding you.
Yeah,
just normal things.
It's normal shit. So I was a 12-year-old, and I got into a van at my local church and went down to Los Angeles and went underground underneath the temple in LA, which if you've ever been to LA, you've probably seen it towards Westwood at some point, but it's the big white building with a giant steeple and big grass lawn and a gold statue on the top. Really ominous kind of looking, but like, you know, it's a place of
but
worship
not nearly as ominous as underground.
Yeah. And we went there and we did baptisms for the dead, which was where family members of the church would submit their past loved ones to be baptized because they believed that is what would seal them as a family forever in the afterlife. It would allow their family members to pass on into heaven, and that when they died, they would be able to be with them forever. So again, you put yourself in the place of it's good intentions and it's loving and it's like, I want to be with my family forever. And it's like, it's all emotions based. But then I get handed a pamphlet of a dude from like the 1800s with a handlebar mustache. And it's like, you're being baptized for Hanks Williamson III, notorious outlaw.
Dude, I know. Where's Dylan? He's crying outside because he can't get baptized for Elvis. We're going to calm him down, and then we're going to give him this Western sheriff.
It's pretty cool. It's on the same level.
Dude, Handlebar Harry is cool.
Come on, man.
Stop crying.
We had to take it from Joey over there. That's why he's crying.
You can't get baptized for Mega Man.
Dylan, you can't get baptized for Charizard. First of all, he's a fire type. It wouldn't work. But
you can't get baptized for Knuckles because Knuckles is still alive.
I'm not going to get into the lore with you right now. Just get in the tub. But it was an underground like baptismal font in this like little like cathedral type room. It was a circular room. It was a mural 360 degrees on the wall with this like granite baptismal font in the middle, and it had 12 bull heads surrounding, carved out of stone in this baptismal font. And the bullheads, I think, represented the 12 apostles of Jesus. And I got baptized. I got baptized when I was 8 years old, and then I got baptized again at 12. But it wasn't me being baptized. I was the vessel for this deceased person to be baptized. So it was pretty chill all in all. I mean, when I'm fucking high off the Benny, I see Handlebar Harry in the corner of my room.
The Benny. Benadryl.
Yeah.
The Hat Man's a cowboy.
You guys know him as the Hat Man. It's just Handlebar Harry.
Yeah, dude, my church had a fountain.
But it's so normalized, man. It's like it's something that seems so regular, and not until you kind of do that separation where you realize that's kind of insane.
Yeah.
Looking into it now.
Yeah. Once you realize that it's like a subjective culture and there's so many of those.
Yes. Yeah.
And you're like, whoa.
Yeah, exactly.
Why underground?
Yeah. And there's a lot of rules. I remember a big one was that you're not allowed to go on any dates or have like any relations with like girls or guys until you're 16 years old. And once you're 16, you're finally allowed to go on dates. That's like a big thing in the Mormon religion. And I remember
Soaks teen. Hell yeah.
Yeah, Soaks teen, baby. Doesn't count.
Sweet Soaks teen.
Sweet Soaks teen. Yeah, it'd be happening. It'd definitely be happening. It happened in my church. But I remember because of that and how much it was like pressured on me that I remember coming home from school one day after I had my first kiss, after I had I kissed a girl for the first time. And it wasn't just like a peck. Like I as the church would put it, I gave in to the devil's temptations. And I was in like, I don't know what grade it must have been, maybe 4th or 5th grade.
Damn, son.
Yeah.
You are a victim.
Hey, let me get my shit off
Soaks
first.
teen, not soaks.
That's crazy. That's crazy, man.
Soaks and a half.
Soaks and 3/4. But yeah, we had a kiss, and it was a very nice kiss. We had a kiss.
It was a very nice kiss. Many people
would say
the best kiss. The most kiss.
The most kiss that's ever had kiss. The most kiss that's ever been kissed.
They're not kissing their best.
They're not. Nope, they're not kissing like they used to. But I remember the point of it being that I went home from the schoolyard that day after I discovered what tongues felt like. That I went home and I was so guilt-ridden. I went into my room and was like profusely crying. And I remember I started praying like for repentance on this and stuff. And I remember my mom knew something was up, or she was like, what's going on, bud?
Just
like,
muttering to yourself, Joseph's going to get me.
Handlebar Harry. But I remember I just was so guilt-ridden that I confessed to my mom. I told her that I had kissed a girl at school, that I kissed a girl and I liked it. And like...
Mom, I gotta be real with you. I was straight macking in the yard.
Yo, Mom, it was crazy. So there I was, risen up, and next thing we know, we went from handball to handsy. This shit got just out of control, Mom. It was a blur. But I told her, and I remember like my mom, she didn't give two shits, dude. Mm-hmm. Like my mom was, I think at the time she thought it was cute and like felt bad at how much of a wreck I was. And she just like supported me, and she was like, "Hey, don't be stupid. Don't do stuff when you're not ready for it." Like, yeah, like, oh my God, like, I guess she probably realized that I wasn't like the little baby anymore. But I remember that specifically is the pressure of dating and girls and whatnot, and how much it's held against you and how bad it is, and like so much of it, I truthfully believe is like practicing repression, and it's
right.
like it's like repress this, repress it, and it's like. What do you think happens when somebody spends their entire like childhood and adolescence and young everything repressing?
Right.
And it's like that's how you get really bad things.
Yeah,
so
really bad
like,
relationships with those aspects of being a human.
Yeah, and so I don't agree with any of that, to be honest. Now, I get the sentiment of it. I do think that like you know kids should hold off on that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and it's like like
you said my mom realized her little kid wasn't her baby boy anymore, and I'm like 4th grade.
No, it wasn't 4th grade, but like I was in elementary school, so I was trying to think. Like,
so 5th?
It might have been 5th. Yeah, it wasn't 4th grade.
Thank God we clarified
right now, bro. All right, first of all, well, 5th grade's what, like 12? What is 5th grade?
I'm pretty sure I was 12, and I was 14 as a freshman, so I was 12 in 7th grade. So you were 10.
Fuck. I was double digits, bro. I was double digits.
You were double dipping. That's what you were fucking doing.
Crazy work. But yeah, there's a lot of pressure put on, I think, to kids growing up in the Mormon religion to be a certain way, to not do certain things, to live a certain way, to everything. And the baptisms for the dead was crazy. I did a lot of other stuff. I was in Boy Scouts because they had like a contract and were tied so closely to the church, literally. So like most boys in the Mormon church were Boy Scouts.
The fucking Mormon to Boy Scout pipeline is real.
It is so real. Not anymore, because there was a huge allegations against the Boy Scouts years ago, and so the church cut ties with the Boy Scouts because it did come out that they were diddying.
they were diddling.
They were diddly diddying.
They're diddling the Scouts.
It came out.
What was the second rank under Eagle Scout again?
Life Scout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were signs.
There was a bunch. I was a Cub Scout, and then you go on to like a few others, and then there's a Star Scout, a Life Scout, and an Eagle Scout.
Yeah, there was like, you're really filling out that shirt, Scout. There were some really weird levels that I did not understand, but I got promoted.
Kevin, what are you doing in my tent, Scout? We put the campfire out hours ago. But yeah, I'll I think we'll save that for another day. I know I already did just talk a lot about it, but I think that could be a very interesting topic, maybe just about religion as a whole. And maybe just some more of my experiences and my deeper conflicts with some of the teachings there. But, but I had a family that understood, and no pressure was set on me once I was finally making kind of decisions for myself.
Right.
And I was so young, I didn't truthfully believe any of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
even know what it meant to believe.
Exactly. I don't think you have true beliefs until you're an adult. You have to come to that stuff on your own organically.
Just kind of have whatever gets fed to you.
Exactly. So I didn't have any of that. I was a kid. So like I don't really think, to be honest, like any of that stuff kind of stuck. Like it's more so just memories for me.
Right.
But it makes for fun stories, which is what we've been talking about a lot of. So
and I think we've covered every question. I don't think we have anymore. I probably like missed one. And that person's like, yeah. Fuck. I know that was a good amount of questions. I thought it'd be a fun idea to maybe see what topics people thought. Yeah,
would be fun to talk about.
Because this was entirely your suggestion. I appreciate it because like I had first reached out to you today, just venting a little. And I was like, fuck, dude. Like I'm tired. I've had so much going on lately. Like I really don't want to like record today. And I knew that I was still going to. I just had no plan. And the thought of after an exhausting like 10-hour shift, then going to have to like plan something like this. I was like, fuck, this is not something I'm looking forward to. And then you just being like, yes, I'll hop on with you and let's try this. And it was like perfect. Went from nothing to gold.
Let's go, baby. Sometimes it's that easy, We almost had video. He kept hitting me, but we were getting close.
Keeps hitting me.
He's trying to figure it out. He still hasn't figured out the lens cap feature. It keeps beating his ass. That's why he's like, sorry guys, still can't figure it out. The red one is record. But it should
gas is on the right, pal.
It should be coming soon. But yeah, we're always here. I'll always find my way to snooze back into this.
Oh yeah,
this fucking podcast. Keep it a little unserious in this university.
Someone's got to. Well, I guess we should just end it then.
I was gonna hold that pause for a minute, man.
I thought about going even further.
You're still here?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? If you made it this far in the podcast, I want you to comment either on Spotify, Apple, YouTube,
on the Instagram
or
post.
on the Instagram post. Fuck it, yeah. Listen to the dean. Comment. What would be a good call thing here? What's a word that they should comment that maybe summarizes the podcast or harkens back to something?
Fuck. I don't know. We could do photon. We do
photon. Yeah, I guess you could do photon. That was brought up early, but we're not asking you to.
Yeah, but like fucking commenting that, or maybe like I'm trying to think.
Just comment baptisms of the dead.
yeah.
Or, no, handlebar Harry.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, yeah. If you've made it this far to the podcast, I don't need anything other than comment on the post that I have to put up tomorrow of me and Dylan, and just put handlebar Harry. And this will be great too because I'll get to see who listened all the way through first.
No, exactly,
If you go
yeah.
and no one's commented, congrats on first.
And if you comment Handlebar Harry, Tub will personally Zelle you $300.
I'll give you a handlebar handy.
That's
How about
that? That's worth like so much more. That's crazy. A Handlebar Harry, Handy Harry coupon. Oh my god.
Handy Harry.
But all right, yeah, that's about
Yeah,
it. We'll
we're
wrap
just-
it up.
we're just
Fucking
gonna keep going.
thanks for listening to this, circus mess. I hope it was somewhat entertaining on your drive or at work or during your workout or
As
while
you
you're
shit on the
laying in
toilet.
bed.
Yeah.
As you shit on the toilet, possibly. I don't know. How are those packs coming? You open up Pokemon packs on Pocket yet?
Check your packs. You might have an immersive.
Exactly. How's the Costco stock doing?
That's funny. Okay. Thank you guys for listening to episode 12. I don't have to record an intro because I already fucking did it. And we'll see you next week.
Later.
Peace.